in the role of underdog. The Lions, led by the strong defensive play of people like Nick Hebler and Rick Clausen, shut down Winnipeg's vaunted passing attack in the Western semifinal. And they'll need more of the same play today to handle Warren Moon and the defending Grey Cup champion, Edmonton Eskimos.
CFL 81, brought to you by Canadian Pacific, owned by Canadians, working for Canadians. By Firestone Canada, maker of the 721 Fuel Fighter Radio. And by Carling O'Keefe, brewers of OV and the Carlsberg family.
Against the defending Grey Cup champion Edmonton Eskimos in the Western Division Final before an all-time record crowd at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. And this capacity crowd as stunned as football fans across the rest of the country when informed of the final score in the Eastern Division Final. What an upset. Ottawa 17-13 over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. These fans are hoping the same thing won't happen here at Commonwealth Stadium. The Eskimos with a 14-1-1 record in regular season play. They twice beat the Lions 38-21 here at Commonwealth Stadium. That score is somewhat misleading because the Lions were leading by 4 points going into the final quarter. Then in the rematch at Empire Stadium in Vancouver, the Lions trailed by just 2 going into the final quarter before losing 22-12. Will we see an upset here this afternoon? Let's find out what Leo Cahill thinks.
Well, Don, I think that Edmonton has all the on-field components necessary to win this big game this afternoon. Hugh Campbell and his staff have done a magnificent job coaching. They've got a great offense led by their quarterback, Warren Moon, and backed up by the wily Tom Wilkinson. They have an outstanding defense orchestrated by all-Canadian middle linebacker Dan Kepley. And they've probably got the best 1-2 kicking combination in all the league, with Cutler and Alisic kicking the field goals and doing the punting. Now, BC is going to win this afternoon. They've got to start fast, they've got to hold on, and they've got to make that first score. There's no question. It's the most important thing here this afternoon, getting down to the field, and let's talk
Final here at Edmonton, 0 degrees at game time, and the field has been covered by a tarp all week, so it's going to provide excellent footing for both teams. Vic Rapp of the BC Lions says the Lions are ready and fired up for this one.
They're ready to go. It's going to be an interesting ball game, and I think it might be a little different than a lot of people expect.
A big play afternoon, Vic. Is that how you have to win this ball game, with your big play offense?
Well, I think not necessarily. I think what we've got to do is eliminate a lot of mistakes, both offensively and defensively. We've got to try to keep them away from the big play on offense. We've got to try to prevent Moon from running the football if we can. They're a great football team. There's no question about it. I guys think they're a pretty good football team, too.
The BC Lions do have a good football team. After a mid-season slump, they faced the last part of the schedule, needing a win-or-else situation. The defense in the past 3 games has been outstanding. Nick Hebler in particular, in the past 2 games, has either caused a fumble or recovered a fumble. The defense has only given up 2 touchdowns in the past 3 games. On the offensive side of the ball, the big play man has been Tyrone Gray. In one game here, he caught 9 passes for 270 yards. He is the big play man for the Lions, and they will need a big effort from him today against these Eskimos. So the Eskimos and the Lions are set. We'll return to Commonwealth Stadium in just a minute.
Carling O'Keefe, your box seat to the CFL. From kickoff to sign-off, Carling O'Keefe is bringing home the best. This year, the CFL features a full interlocking schedule. There are new stars and familiar favorites in what promises to be the best CFL season yet. Catch all the action from your home box seat. Carling O'Keefe, bringing the CFL home to you.
Traction, year-round. The Firestone Trax 12 all-season radial grips rain-soaked roads. Traction bars hidden in the tread pull you through snow. For smooth, quiet driving, long-lasting Trax 12. Traction you can see. Traction, 12 months a year. Trax 12, the all-season radial from Firestone.
Better than 52,000, the largest crowd to ever watch a football game in Western Canada, jammed into Commonwealth Stadium. Commonwealth Stadium expanded to 60,000 for 1983 for the university games. Some of those extra seats have already been installed, and the Eskimos had no problem selling them out, as has been the case with every game they've played this season. Much will depend on how that man plays, Warren Moon, and as far as Vic Rapp is concerned, his defensive crew has to come up with an awfully big game as well. People like Larry Key, quarterback Joe Pow. This BC team is confident. They came off a 15-11 victory over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, an upset in the semifinal last Sunday. They have played well defensively in their last 3 games. In a must game against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they yielded just 1 touchdown. They gave up only 3 points in the game that decided the final playoff berth in the West to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And last week, just 1 touchdown in the semifinal against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And here at Commonwealth Stadium, we're ready for our national anthem.
Our home and native land, true patriot love, in all our sons command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free, from far and wide. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
We'll return to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton and the Edmonton Eskimo kickoff right after this.
The cars they said North America would never build are at your Pontiac dealers today.
Pontiac
The sleek 1982 J2000 3-door hatchback, part of a new series of front-wheel drive Pontiacs. Quality that we feel stacks up against any competitive small car anywhere in the world.
Pontiac J2000, nobody's got it like Pontiac. You got it, Pontiac.
It's no puzzle why the beer stands the test of time. It delivers great taste time after time.
Yeah, the tradition's strong. We're all moving along 'cause the tradition's strong.
OV's Great Taste has been a popular choice with Canadians for generations. And the tradition grows because OV's Great Taste is always popular. No puzzle to that.
So you say OV, OV for me, oh yeah.
Conditions this afternoon, perhaps not as good as they could be, but certainly better than they have for Western finals in the past. The temperature just above the freezing mark. There is very little wind on a cloudy, overcast day at Commonwealth Stadium. Dave Cutler preparing to get this game underway, and Crawford and Devon Ford are back to receive the opening kickoff. Number 28 is Crawford. Number 16, his partner on the kickoff return unit, Devon Ford. The referee this afternoon is Don Barker. The other officials, Bill Wright, Merv Pilling, Jim Hope Ross, Bud Ulrich, and Maury Mulhern. The wind from the west at 9 kilometers per hour, and the temperature 1 degree Celsius. Vic Rapp, the head coach of the British Columbia Lions, coming into the game surprisingly confident. He feels that his Lions are ready for this one. The kickoff will go to Devon Ford. He starts from the 1-yard line. Ford breaks the first tackle, but then is hit at the 20 and thrown back by Leo Blanchard. Joe Pow, the starting quarterback, the second leading rusher in the West. Larry Key and John Henry White in the backfield. The receivers, the key man, the deep threat, Tyrone Gray, and the offensive line with Al Wilson, the veteran and outstanding center in the Canadian Football League, in the middle. 1st and 10 for the Lions from their own 20. Sharut comes wide to the left. Tyrone Gray out to the right. The Eskimos with a 7-man front. They'll try and put early pressure on quarterback Joe Papa. First play to Larry Key to the 25-yard line. A pickup of about 5 yards.
To me like that time that the pinch was on the left-hand side. To me like the pinch was on the left-hand side there. He almost broke to the outside.
BC Lions will have trouble running on the Eskimos, as all teams have all year, Don. They're going to have to throw it.
Second and 5. Pow getting protection. He swings it out. John Henry White is stopped short of the first down.
The Eskimos just dropped into the zone, dropped the linebackers deep, forced Pow to lay off to his swing man or his relay man, and then they react up and come and get him. So there's not much to it. You'll see Pow come out. You'll see Kepley and Potter dropping out of there to form that zone underneath. They make Pow throw the ball off to the back, and then up they come to make the tackle. This good defense forces them to give up the ball.
I think we're going to see a lot of swing passes out here this afternoon.
On 3rd down, Pasaglia is kicking. Emilio Fraietta at his own 50 up to the 52-yard line.
Well, this is where they worry. They worry all those 3 weeks that they've had off. They got to wonder whether they're going to be ready to go on that first series of downs. And that's been a concern to the Edmonton coaches, is that long layoff. And now we're into it, and it's time to put it on the line, and we're going to find out right now.
Well, of course, Warren Moon is the man that the BC Lions have to contain. Moon has the scrambling ability. Different perspective than provided by Dieter Brock of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He does not run around as much as Warren Moon. Moon gives to Neil Lumsden on the first play from scrimmage on that little trap action up the middle for a gain of 7. Rick Clausen is the man who made the tackle. Edmonton's offense with receivers some consider the best in the entire league. Kelly, Scott, Sinkar, and Smith, the best as a unit, that is. An all-Canadian offensive line in that all 5 are Canadian citizens. And, of course, Warren Moon is the quarterback with Jim Germany and Neil Lumsden in the backfield. Moon on 2nd down, throwing, complete for a first down. Ken Hinnon was over there to make the tackle on Brian Kelly, and Brian Kelly in previous games against the Lions has had tremendous success.
He's been the guy that the Eskimos played the Lions. It was kind of an unusual call going for a 12-yard pass with a 2nd and 4, but Warren Moon didn't hesitate. He threw it out there and was right on the money, and Hinton had good coverage. But Kelly's got good hands.
And you know, Ron, that line is off maligned as far as the Edmonton line is concerned, but they do the things that they have to do in order to get the job done.
First down from the 42. Moon under some pressure, ducks away. He's going for the home run throw to Kelly. Incomplete. Kelly was looking back to the official as he was being watched closely by Kenny Hinton. However, no flag was forthcoming. And as we said earlier, that's the thing that Moon does so well. He escapes that pressure.
And how many times have you seen that Kelly go down the sidelines? He doesn't have that great speed. He's about a 4.7 40, but he has that elusiveness. He turns to the outside and he makes that sideline catch so often, then he'll just run past that, lull that defensive back to sleep and run past him and get under the ball, and he goes the ball extremely well and catches everything that comes close to him.
The Lions with exactly the same lineup as knocked off Winnipeg 15-11 last Sunday in the semifinal game. Moon looking for Tommy Scott. He overthrew him. And the Edmonton Eskimos are stymied. They will send in their field goal unit. Richard Murray was the man who pressured the Edmonton quarterback.
Good pressure on Moon that time, and also the Proudfoot had good coverage on Tommy Scott. And the ball was laid out in front of him, but I don't believe that Scott was able to make the cut exactly when Moon anticipated, and as a result, the ball was wide.
Ron, do you think that they're going to use that 6 and 7 deep as often this week as they did last week with the same effectiveness in that secondary?
Well, they got an awful lot of defensive backs in there. Right now, they're sitting in just like a 4-4 zone. They got 8 people back there to stop it.
Well, that puts a big burden on those guys up front that have to get to that pass and put the pressure on him.
From 49 yards out, this field goal certainly within Cutler's range. It is good. The Edmonton Eskimos, on the strength of a 49-yard field goal by Dave Cutler, lead by 3.
Let me show you one of the toughest jobs we ever did at Canadian Pacific. See this tunnel? It's a unique spiral tunnel, one of 2 we built in the Rockies in 1909. The spiral, on a gradual slope, made it more efficient to haul heavy trains from down here to up here. And it still does. We took on a tough job then to do a good job now.
Today's Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
This was the standard in Canadian football. And afterwards, this beer was a popular choice. The shape of things changed and changed. Today, there's a new look, and the tradition grows because OV's great taste is always popular.
The time is now, the move is on. Just say OV, OV for me.
The tradition grows, so just say OV. Oh, yeah.
The Edmonton Eskimos, with 10:58 remaining in this opening quarter, lead 3-0. And the British Columbia Lions have opted to have the Eskimos kick off from the 35. It's interesting, Ron Lancaster, you pointed out in a game we did at Commonwealth Stadium earlier this year that a clue to where that kickoff is going is where Dan Kepley lines up on the kicking team.
Going the other way this time. It's going to go over to Parker on the BC's right side.
Devon Ford. This will be a good run back. Look out, he's gone. Devon Ford is going to score. What a return by Devon Ford with Dal Smith almost caught up to him, and that's what Vic Rapp, the coach of the BC Lions, said the team needed. No, I believe they're going to rule that he went out at the 2-yard line.
This is what BC does with them. They love those special teams. They turn over to Devon Ford, and he finds a seam. He picks up some good blocking there by Kern. He springs forward, and he's got great speed. And only the speed of Waddell Smith saves the touchdown because he was going to outrun the roof on him. And Waddell Smith got him, and he forced out of bounds at the 4. Good break for the Lions, and something that they need early in the ballgame.
What a lift that has to give Vic Rapp and the Lions. He's a great believer in the psychological effect. And they've had a sports psychologist working with the team. And they come into this one with confidence. And if you ever needed an ego booster, a run back such as that by Devon Ford will certainly provide it. In that power eye, the second man, Larry Key, fights his way down to about the 1. It appeared initially as though he was going to be stopped by Dave Fennell. I'm not really sure that Ford stepped out. Let's take another look at it.
He takes the ball here and just stops up, and the blocking forms in front of him. He gets a couple of good blocks, gets a good block there by Crawford, and he breaks into the open, and he just goes down that sideline, and he got pushed here by Waddell Smith just before going into the end zone, and the official interpreted that when he got pushed that he stepped out of bounds. Let's take a look at it right here.
No, he didn't. He did not step out of bounds.
He did not step out of bounds.
I didn't think he had gone out of bounds, and in fact, he did not. The try for the touchdown, they're over, but there is a penalty flag. It appeared as though BC was offside. Yes, that's the call.
There wasn't much doubt about that guy being offside.
Let's take that. If we can, we'd like to take another look at that run by Devon Ford because he did not step out of bounds. Our director, Ron Harrison, informs that he'll try and run it back for us.
Legal procedure. Columbia. Card penalty. Second down repeated.
The illegal procedure call against the BC Lions. Deprived of a touchdown on that run by Devon Ford. And now at the 6-yard line, it's 2nd and goal for the Lions.
Well, when you get down inside that 5-yard line, you just can't afford to be offside. You got to listen for the count. You know it. The defense doesn't know it, and there's no excuse for being offside.
The pass is knocked away by Mike McLeod. It was intended for Al Sharuk in the end zone.
Good defensive play by McLeod in the end zone, but on the blitz that time, they brought the linebacker and they blitzed Gary Hayes. You'll see him come in from the left side of the screen here. They bring the linebacker and Hayes. Pawpaw has to get rid of it, and a diving save by McLeod. The ball gets through there, but it bounces off the shoulder pad. So what should have been a touchdown for the Lions, now they're going to have to settle for the field goal.
Well, if Vic Rapp knew that Devon Ford had not stepped out of bounds on that run, he wouldn't be quite as relaxed as he is at the moment. But his view of that play was from the other side of the field. And the field goal by Lou Pasaglia is good. The score is tied at 3. Let's take another look at that Devon Ford run. He did not step out of bounds. I didn't think he had initially.
Let's see him running. Waddell just gives him a push there around the 7-yard line. He gets his right foot down. This is the one. Doesn't look out of bounds from here.
He is not out of bounds.
It's
no
like
question.
You can see some grass between those two.
No question about it. He was in bounds all the way. So
well,
the score is tied at 3.
Well, I wouldn't want to be around next week when Vic Rapp takes a look at that film.
So now it's the Edmonton Eskimos after 35. Over the middle, Kelly has got it. Hit by Tony Proudfoot, the safety. But Kelly has had a lot of success against the BC Lions. And the early indication this afternoon is more of the same.
You'll see that BC Lions dropped to his own defense. It's only a 2-man out pattern. They were anticipating some pressure. Kelly goes down and comes to the inside, which is unusual. He makes the catch in the air, and Proudfoot hits him real good. An unusual move for Kelly to go down deep and to the inside. He usually goes outside.
Kelly goes wide to the left. Smith to the right. 1st and 10 from the 51. The score tied at 3. Germany throwing back to the 55 by Mac Moore.
Good defensive play. Got to him in the backfield. Doesn't allow him to get up that head of steam to run to daylight. He gets him before he gets started, which is what you have to do.
Hugh Campbell looking for his 5th consecutive trip to the Grey Cup, hoping that he can establish a CFL record of 4 consecutive Grey Cup wins. His Eastern opponent, of course, will be George Brancato in the Ottawa Rough Riders, and we extend our congratulations to George and his teammates for that 17-13 victory this afternoon. Pressure on Moon again. He spins away. And this is what Moon does so well. They had him trapped for a big loss. He was able to break it free and provide the Eskimos with a 1st down.
This is why Warren Moon's considered by many to be the best quarterback or the best athlete as far as that goes. Brock doesn't have the running ability that Warren Moon has. And Dieter can throw that football, but this is the thing that Moon does best. He goes back in the pocket. He looks downfield, doesn't like what he sees. He got some pressure from Murray outside. He spins off a couple guys, makes a heck of a move on Glenn Jackson, and he gets a big 1st down into BC Lions territory.
1st down to 32. Going deep for Kelly on the Crimson plate. Devon Ford was over-covering Brian Kelly, and with 6:47 remaining in the 1st quarter and the score tied, let's pause.
GMC is a big name in trucks with a lot behind it. Like the new GMC C1500 pickup, which offers a new optional 6.2-liter diesel engine designed exclusively for trucks. And GMC's new S15, the little rig, with a standard 4 or available with an optional V6 engine that can deliver economy and be quick about it. GMC, the name tells you right up front, trucks are what we're all about.
6:47, the time remaining in this quarter.
There's Moon going back, and he took an awful jolt in there by Hebler. And that's what they're planning on doing with Moon. If he does run with that football, because he is so elusive, they're going to punish him downfield and try to discourage him from leaving that line of scrimmage and making those easy yards running.
They have to catch him first.
That's for sure.
2nd and 10. Ball at the 33. Pressure from the backside. He gets the pass away. It's another first down for the Eskimos. Marco Sinkar, the receiver, hit by Devon Ford.
You never hear much about Sinkar. You hear about their other three receivers, but he can catch the football. And the BC Lions tried to blitz it, and I think Moon saw it coming. He rolled to his left. Sinkar ran it out. Nothing to it. Pitch and catch.
Well, it seems to me that Huey Campbell, over the last 5 years, correct me if I'm wrong, he's been ahead of most people as far as his pass offense is concerned. And he's teaching those receivers to run those patterns a lot like he did and get open. And nobody in this league can get open as much as those Edmonton Eskimo receivers can.
And in addition to the sizable gain on the completion to Sinkar, there's a rough play call against the BC Lions, and that moves the ball to the 11-yard line. So it will be 1st and 10 from the 11. Vic Rapp felt that mistakes is something his team could not afford this afternoon, and I think penalties have to fall into the category of mistakes.
Well, they're the most penalized team in the league, and they can't afford them today.
Not any running room inside as everybody on that front four and the linebackers got in the act. Jim Germany picked up maybe a yard.
I think he tried to surprise him there. I think he was anticipating a blitz and trying to fake the pitch outside and then handed it back. But BC didn't go for it, and they were sitting right on the line of scrimmage waiting on him, and he did get just about a yard, but no more.
So it will be 2nd and 9 from the 10-yard line now. What about a rollout action here?
Right straight back and swung it to the
Bringing it out
outside.
to Germany. Germany is going to be run down and stopped well short of a first down. So the BC Lions have come up tough when necessary, and they forced the Eskimos into what will probably be a field goal try with 5:04 left in the first quarter and the score tied.
Moon's going to go back to pass. You'll see Glenn Jackson break free right straight up the middle. He forces Moon to unload in a hurry, and London Brits are outside on Germany, and they finally run him down, and they're going to force him to kick the field goal. But BC surprised him with that blitz, and they got a man free up the middle, which is the worst spot in the world for a quarterback when he's dropping back. He's got no chance.
That's the quickest way to him, Ron, when you come up that middle. And actually, when he went back, he looked up, and there was Jackson right in his face.
Dave Cutler's field goal attempt will come from 12 yards out. It's good. And so far, it's been the kicking prowess of Cutler and Pasaglia that has accounted for the scoring, although the BC Lions were robbed of a touchdown on a kickoff return by Devon Ford that on the replay you saw appeared to indicate Ford was certainly well inside the chalk marks on the side of the field.
Well, there he is. That's the man they've got to get some production from today. He's caught a lot of passes for him, and he'd love to catch about 9 more today. It'd be super for the BC Lions, and that's just what they need.
He had 270 yards in a game against the Eskimos right here at Commonwealth Stadium. 38-21 was the final score. 4:45 is the time remaining. Crawford and Devon Ford are back for this Dave Cutler kickoff.
You know, they talk about Dave Cutler not having a great year, this, that, and the other thing. But he can kick the football. I can remember a final we played against him one year. We give him only 1 touchdown, but he kicked 6 field goals in the ball game, and that's all she wrote. They beat us with that. He is a good kicker. He's as good a kicker as I've ever seen.
Once you hit midfield, Dave Cutler is within range. It'll go to Devon Ford again. He's the man who burned them last time. This time he is brought down at the 26 by Tom Towns. Super music, the Rovers. Wasn't that a party? A little leprechaun magic and some terrific music with the Rovers is guaranteed to brighten up tonight's television entertainment. Be a part of the fun at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in Newfoundland, here on the CBC Television Network. 1st and 10 for the Lions from the 26. John Henry White trying to get outside, fumbled the ball. Who's got it? I believe he got it back.
He tripped a little bit going outside. It looked like he was going to start inside, try to pull that Edmonton defense in and then bounce outside. But when he did, he lost his footing and lost the ball, and they're very fortunate to get it back.
There he is right there. He just started and you saw the penetration coming. He tried to change directions, and when he fell, that ball went out, but he had the heads up enough to get on it himself. I think he would have been down anyhow, though.
Will they be going after Pow in this one? 2nd and 14. Here they come. Pow over the middle. It's complete for a first down. Al Sharuk made the reception in front of Holloman at the 37.
That's an excellent catch and an excellent throw. They blitzed at him, as you was mentioning. They did go after him with everybody that time. He went down and ran a curl pattern, and Pow threw the ball away from where Joe Holloman was and allowed Sharuk to make the catch. If he throws it inside, Holloman gets it. Good throw, good catch.
And not bad defense. It was just a well-thrown ball, that's all.
1st and 10 for the Lions. I believe their initial first down of the ball game. Larry Key found no running room, and that's one thing about this Edmonton Eskimo team. They yield running yardage very, very grudgingly. With 3:01 remaining in the first quarter, let's pause for this message.
November 5th, 1940 was a day of destiny for the Canadian Pacific ship Beaverford. For almost 5 hours, with superb seamanship and only 2 small guns, the Beaverford fought off the mighty battleship Admiral Scheer as it attacked a wartime convoy. 31 ships of the convoy survived, but not the Beaverford or her gallant crew.
Today is Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
KTEL presents Charlie Pride.
Hi, I'm Charlie Pride, and here's my brand new album entitled Charlie Pride Go.
It's the happiness of having you in a Mississippi cotton picking belt.
I've included Mansion on the Hill, We Could, Then Who Am I, and a whole bunch of others you're going to enjoy. This is one of the best albums I've ever done.
Part of KTEL's Sound Celebration, Charlie Pride Gold. It's in stores now.
2nd down, and this is a situation the BC Lions cannot afford to get into, running on 1st down and not making yardage.
No, you're asking for trouble if you're going to face a 2nd and 9 or 10 situation every time. The quarterback's going to have a heck of a long day.
I'll tell you, that Edmonton Eskimo front line's awful tough to run on. They play 7 guys up there, and when they end up their charge, they're in a defensive, like a gap 8 defense, and there's just no room in there to find any running space at all.
7 guys? I thought at times I've counted 9 up there.
They do that too, and they're going to come with the blitz.
Good protection for Pow. Looking for Tyrone Gray. There appeared to be a mix-up. Pow threw to his outside, and he was being covered by Gary Hayes.
Gary Hayes just got in a position to where Tyrone Gray had to make the decision to go inside or go outside. He went inside, Pow threw it outside. The only good thing about it wasn't intercepted.
First punt of the ball game as Pasaglia stands at the 25. Marco Sincar, actually the 2nd punt of the ball game. Marco Sincar and Emilio Freyetta are back. Freyetta takes it at the 37. He does a good job on these special teams for the Eskimos. However, he's going nowhere in the grasp of Kevin Konar.
He was fighting like he was going to get away, and Konar had hold of that jersey. He wasn't going anywhere.
So the Eskimos will have pretty good field position again. 1st and 10 at their own 44. 2:10 is the time remaining. Vic Rapp, the most successful coach in the history of the BC Lions. He joined the club in 1977 after serving as an assistant with the Eskimos. Moon trying to get to the outside, throwing over the middle for carry, 1st down.
Don, that is an excellent throw. He had a play-action fake. He rolled to his left, and he threw the ball back to a hook man. He'll make a play-action fake here to Germany, and he gets outside. And that's a difficult throw. He's running full speed left, and he throws back inside to a hook man, and he drills it. Nice catch. Nice throw.
The ball at the 51 of the Lions, 1st and 10. almost picked off over the middle by Glenn Jackson. It was Nick Hebler who was pressuring. Jackson made a pretty good drop from his linebacking position to get in position.
See, what's funny here is they talk about quarterbacks reading linebackers. Linebackers reading the quarterback at the same time when he's in a zone, and you could see Jackson just looking back there at Moon to see where he was going to throw the ball, and then he beat the ball to where it was going. He got good pressure, though, from Hebler.
Jackson's got some pretty good hands, too, Ron. I thought he was going to pick that one off. He usually picks a pass like that off.
Actually, he's had 5 of them during the course of the season, so he is certainly capable of picking them off. Time play, though. It's a first down with Tommy Scott on the receiving end of the throw from Warren Moon.
Yeah, it looks here like they're going back, and it looks like 2 of the Edmonton Eskimo receivers are almost in the same spot, but Scott, he likes to get inside those seams, and he can turn up inside and read that defense as well as anybody can. You see, Kelly wasn't that far away from him. Normally, they're not that close together when they're running that pattern, but Scott came inside, made the reception, first down.
28-yard gain. Draw play. Germany stopped at the 25. That will be a loss of 1 by Mac Moore. You know, that front 4 of the BC Lions has been playing a solid football game so far this afternoon.
They sure have, and you know, the thing that amazes me is that with just 4 people coming, and sometimes it looks to me like Edmonton's using maximum protection, and they're still getting a lot of pressure on that quarterback. In other words, they're not just blocking with some linemen, they're keeping some receivers in there and some backs in there, and they're still getting pressure from just 4 defensive linemen rushing, and that's an indication that they're really coming.
2nd and 11 for the Eskimos. This should be the final play of the opening quarter. Now this is what Moon does so well again. Getting out of there, but he won't get the first down. He'll be stopped about 1.5 yards short. He couldn't find a receiver, but he managed to roll out Jim Germany with the block, but not enough for a first down, and that's the end of the first quarter.
Filters and oil, alignment and brakes, shocks, batteries, and tune-ups. At Firestone, when you come in for service, that's exactly what you get. Qualified mechanics and name brand parts. And when we say your car will be ready, it'll be ready and right at Firestone.
Now that's service.
I've lost my crown, my people, my fortune, but I can still look smart. And I do. In my Aero Smooth shirt from Aero. Look at this collar, perfection, and it's specially designed to stay perfect. I even get my exact sleeve length. What quality? Aero Smooth, fit for a king at a price any ex-king can afford.
Aero Smooth, white and plain colors, just under $20.
You don't have to give up a fortune to look smart.
Can't believe your eyes. Almost looks brand new. Make your bed and hold your breath. This one's made for you. Make it a Carlsberg for me and my friends. Make it a Carlsberg. Make it a Carlsberg. Make it a Carlsberg, my friend.
A wide edge so far through 15 minutes of play statistically for the Eskimos. Most of that rushing total the result of the scrambling skills of Warren Moon. And, of course, on the passing, the big weapon so far has been Brian Kelly. But yet, the Eskimos have not been able to put it in the end zone. And Dave Cutler lines up for his 3rd field goal attempt of the afternoon. It is good.
Wasn't too artistic. It was kind of a spiral in there, but it counts just as much. You can still get the 3 points on it.
Looking over at the Eskimo bench, Hugh Campbell has had an outstanding record in postseason play. This is his 11th postseason game, and his record is 9 wins and 1 loss. The only loss coming in that 1977 Grey Cup. It's an outstanding record.
Indeed it is, John, and he would be the first to ever lead a team to 4 consecutive Grey Cup victories. if, of course, he gets past the BC Lions this afternoon and then is able to knock off the Ottawa Rough Riders next Sunday at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. And what a surprise that was in the East. And do you think George Brancato's a little excited today?
Oh, I'd say he's got to be excited. Nobody would give him a chance to win the football game, and they're, you know, I don't know how many point underdogs they were, but, you know, it's the same old thing. That's why you have to play the game. You can't believe all that other stuff.
Well, everybody says from time immemorial that George Brancato, you can't sell him short. I talked to George last week, and I asked him if he'd rather be lucky than good, and he said lucky any day.
Devon Ford runs into a pileup of talent led by Dan Kepley, and he makes the tackle at the 32-yard line. And Kepley appears to be having some problems with his fingers after making that tackle. Perhaps it's nothing serious as he flexes them now. Maybe just some of that tape jams a little. So that's the way Dan Kepley plays the game.
That's about the truth.
You can testify to that, can't you?
I'll go along with that. Dan Kepley is a very aggressive on those kickoffs. He's their gunner, more or less. He just goes to that football, and he gets there in a hurry.
A lot of people can go to it and get there, but he makes something happen, too, Ron, when he gets there.
First and 10 from the 32. Pow in trouble. James Parker, with help from Dave Fennell, dropped Pow back at the 24-yard line.
That's not really a surprise, Don. In the 2 games they've played this year, the Eskimos have sacked them 16 times. You'll see here, he wants a little play-action fake. He wants to get outside, but he can't get out there. And then Fennell puts some pressure on him. He has to turn back. And when you turn back inside, you're looking at a lot of green shirts, and Parker hit him.
That was that slant to the left side that time, Ron, and you know yourself, when you're slanting that way, the center can't handle you. The guard's got to pick you up, and Fennell just overpowered the guard and gave Parker a shot in there to get on the quarterback.
Actually, Fennell, 2 people, Glenn Leonard and Larry Key. It's second down and 19. Swing pass to Larry Key. And Key breaks 1 tackle and then is forced out of bounds at the 31-yard line. He is about a yard short of the original line of scrimmage, forced out of bounds by Dale Potter.
You'll see the linebackers dropping out of there, which means it's a zone. And Pow looks downfield. There's nothing open, so he has to go to Key. He makes a good move on Ed Jones to get outside. Jones wants to turn him back inside where he's got help from those other linebackers, but Key makes a good move and gets outside.
There's Fennell right here, and he just pressures you in there on the inside. He takes a couple blockers with him and makes it a lot easier for other people all the time. And the thing that always amazed me about Edmonton is that they don't have to do all that stuff. If they do, I think they do it just to intimidate. Because they're good enough to play straight up on anybody any day and still get the job done.
Good BC bounce on the kick by Pasaglia. Emilio Frietta back to field it. Frietta was hoping to draw an offside or an encroachment on that 5-yard area. However, the BC Lions were able to vacate the premises, and that's a pretty good kick by Pasaglia of 56 yards as the Eskimos start back in their own 25. We remind you that this program is copyright and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or exhibition, in whole or in part, without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited.
Right.
What is it you said a couple of weeks ago? And don't you forget it.
Don't you forget it.
Neil Lumsden ran into a bit of a brick wall after a pickup of 3 yards. Glenn Jackson, from his linebacking position, came in to make the tackle.
Coach Rapp's got to be wondering what he's got to do right now. He's not the quarterback right now for them. Hasn't made the right call according to Edmonton's defense. When he's expecting a zone, they're giving him man, and when he wants the man, they're in the zone. And that's what Edmonton's defense does to you. They keep you confused. Your blocking rules, everything. And that's a tough thing when you play the Eskimos.
Second down and 6. They are going to rule no catch, I believe. Over on the sidelines for Waddell Smith. The BC Lions on the bench right behind that play were giving a signal just in case the officials may have missed it.
Oh, they're all those players are willing to help you out anytime a referee gets close to that bench. They're going to give them all the help they can get. It's always going to go in their way.
And it must have been a pretty good call. Waddell Smith didn't complain about it at all.
Who is that, really?
Daffy Duck.
A lot of strange creatures wandering around Commonwealth Stadium this afternoon. Not all of them are dressed necessarily like that chap either.
It's a zoo down here, Don, I'll tell you.
Third down kick by Hank Olisic. Devon Ford, he found a hole again, and he came very close to breaking a big one. He's out to the 53-yard line, and we'll pause with 11:24 remaining in the first half.
On July 22nd, 1910, this message crackled out from the Canadian Pacific ship Montrose. Has strong suspicions that London cellar murderer and accomplice are amongst passengers. Accomplice dressed as boy. Voice, manner, and build, undoubtedly a girl. Captain Kendall's suspicions were correct, and it was the very first use of radio to apprehend a criminal.
Today is Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
Special teams, since Vic Rapp's tenure as coach began in BC in '77, have been a big weapon for the Lions.
Whenever you play the BC Lions, you know, you worry about offense and defense, but when you're playing them, you better worry about their special teams. I think in the last 3 or 4 years, they've had the best special teams in the entire CFL, and this got them great field position to start this drive.
11-11, the time left in the first half. 1st and 10 for the Lions. They are at the 48. Tyrone Gray very close to a first down. As a matter of fact, I think he's got it. Caught by Larry Highbaugh.
Well, this is what I'd like to see Pow Pow do in this ball game. I thought that his most impressive game that I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years that he's been playing was over in Hamilton when he played so well against the Tiger Cats. They won that big game to turn their season around, and he really looked like he controlled the football game. He handed off to his backs, he threw the short passes, and then the long pass will come along sooner or later in the ball game. But all he's got to do is be a little bit patient, and he's going to be all right this afternoon.
1st and 10 from the 36. Quickly inside with John Henry White. He may have picked up 4 yards. John Henry White had a big game last Sunday against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, particularly that 4th quarter run that got the Lions out of a hole when he ripped off a 50-yard romp up the middle.
That was a play, you know, coaches refer to it as a sucker. You know, you pull your guards, and the linebackers key the guards, and they chase them, and all of a sudden the guy with the ball is running right where you left, and he went wide open.
2nd and 5, little swing pass, and John Henry White could not hang on.
Good play by Pow Pow right there. He came back and pumped to his right, and he had sort of like a slip screen or a running screen, whatever you want to call it. He had his lineman taken off, and he threw the ball to John Henry White, and he just couldn't hold on.
Now here you see it right here. He just goes back, and as you say, the back swung out of the backfield. It's a good throw out there. I think if he would have caught the ball, he could have cut back to the inside and had a real good chance of making the first down.
Oh, he had the lineman in front of him, and that's what you want. Anytime you get that back to ball behind those big linemen, you got a chance.
9:49 left in the half. It's 9-3. The Eskimos leading. Pasaglia will try and cut the deficit to 3 points. It's good. A 38-yard field goal by Lou Pasaglia. And surprisingly, 2 teams that have rather explosive offenses have not yet been able to put it in the end zone. Well, next Saturday on CBC television, the Grey Cup Festival and the Grey Cup Parade, beginning at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Join Ted Reynolds and Joe Green as the annual parade winds its way through the streets of downtown Montreal. And then, immediately following the parade, Sports Weekend will present highlights of the 1981 Grey Cup Festival and the World Cup of Boxing from Montreal. Exciting sports entertainment next Saturday on CBC television. Moon ducks away from pressure again. That's about the 3rd time he has ducked and maneuvered when it appeared he was going to be dropped for a loss. And it was Richard Murray who had that good shot at him but missed.
Moon was in the sack right that time. I know Murray felt he had him all the way, and he went right over the top of him.
You see it right here. He just starts out to his right, ducks under, and that was a terrific job of ducking under this defender and just looking for the open spot. Sam Britz dives at him right there and almost gets him, and then Jackson gets him. And, you know, I think that Vic Rapp has told his guys, let the guy run in the open field, but when he runs, punish him and discourage him from running. And I don't think Moon's going to do that much running this afternoon. BC is really going after him.
I wonder if that's a psychological ploy by the Eskimos. putting those pennants up there, the Grey Cup pennants fluttering in the breeze. On 2nd and 2, Jim Germany gets the first down to the 51.
They originated with all the receivers in the backfield that time and started some motion out to the wide side of the field and then just handed to Germany back to the short side that time. And it was kind of a diversionary effect on the defense, and he almost broke into the open.
1st and 10, Edmonton, the ball on their own 52.
8:17, the time remaining in this first half. 9-6, the Eskimos leading. 38-21, 22-12. The Eskimos victors over the Lions in 2 regular season games. The fake on the reverse. Now Moon in some trouble. That penalty flag goes down, and that's going to be a clipping call, I'm almost certain, against the Edmonton Eskimos, Hector Poitier. There it is, the indication from referee John Barker. Richard Murray was trying to get in on quarterback Warren Moon, and he was hit from behind by Poitier.
I think according to the way that they're rushing here this afternoon, that they're trying to come from the outside with the pressure. Well, there's the clip right there. Just as sure, there's 2 clips in there, really. But this guy, talk about elusive. He can step around people and duck under people. But again, the telltale effect is going to be what the defense and the physical punishment that this guy takes when he's running with that football this afternoon. It looks to me like they're allowing him to step up to the inside, and then they're trying to converge on him and really put it to him when he runs with the football. Their main concern, it looks like, is that they're trying to get away from the rush from the outside.
I don't agree with you, Leo. Not at all. He'll run all day.
Well, he may run all day, Ron, but I'll tell you one thing, he's going to feel it if he runs much longer.
Jim Germany going up the middle for a pickup of about 3. We have 7:31 remaining in the half, and we have this message.
Firestone tires play a vital part in developing Canada's energy resources. Our role in energy conservation is just as important. The 721 Fuel Fighter, a steel-belted radial tire that's lean on gas and long on mileage. The new 721 Fuel Fighter from Firestone.
Well, the Eskimos have certainly been kings of the turf here at Commonwealth Stadium. They moved over here in 1978, and that's when their reign as Grey Cup champions began. I don't know whether I dare ask what you 2 gentlemen might suggest in this particular play, or we'd get another argument going here.
Well, Ron likes to argue about those quarterbacks running. He never took a step in 14 years.
Moon is going. No! Konar had an interception.
And an open field.
Right in his hands. He had that ball. And he could not hang on.
BC lined up, and they look like they're going to show you a blitz. But at the last second, they all drop out of there, and Moon just makes a bad throw. He probably never saw Konar, because you're not going to hit a guy that wide open. But he put it right in his hands, and he couldn't hold it.
Well, let me ask you, Ron, could that be a little bit of an indication that he's getting shook up from some of that running he's doing?
No, he's not going to get it.
When's the last time you saw him throw a ball that badly?
This has been going on for the last 2 days. We've had a lot of fun. I have, anyway, listening to the arguments between Leo and Ron discussing strategy in this particular game. Devon Ford takes that Hankelistic punt and steps out of bounds at the 25 with 6:43 left to play in this first half.
Boy, he got a little bit of rain on that one, too, didn't he?
That's what he better do. He better kick that ball close to the sideline so they don't get run. Don't get that big return.
Our halftime show will feature the Western Coaches All-Star selection, and we'll also take a look at the highlights of this opening half of the Western Final. Better than 52,000 here at Commonwealth Stadium.
Campbell looks like he'd rather be indoors. Just the way he's walking around there.
Stu appeared to be a little nervous over the past couple of days. A little concerned about this one. The home run throw for Tyrone Gray, incomplete. Joe Holloman was the man who knocked it down. They were trying to get Gray in behind the defenders, and it was underthrown.
Well, that's the guy that Gray beat so many times in that game here when he caught all those passes on him, and they went after him again here. And I think Pow had already decided he's going after Holloman on this one with Tyrone, and he just laid it out there. But Holloman had better position than Gray did to get the ball.
I'll tell you one thing this thing does do, it makes those defensive backs alert that this guy can go deep, and they got to be looking for that, and it'll open up some short passes. But I certainly hope that Pow doesn't start throwing for the fences this early in the ball game, because he settles down, he's going to be all right.
6 minutes remaining in the half. 2nd and 10 for the Lions. They're at their own 25. Penalty flag goes down for Ricky Ellis. He could not catch up with it. He was being covered by Gary Hayes.
There was a mistake right there on the Edmonton defense, but Pow rolled to his left and didn't get the opportunity to take advantage of it. You'll see Ed Jones and McLeod are down there on the field talking about it now. Ed Jones ran a safety blitz or a halfback blitz, and McLeod never came over to cover his man. You'll see Ed Jones appear from the left of your screen, but Pow's going the other way, and the inside receiver for BC was wide open down the field. He overthrows Ellis. He had him open too, but if he hits the guy on the other side, there's nobody between him and the goal line.
Except the official.
That's right, the only one.
No right end decline.
That's one of the big advantages
That's why it was
of
open.
having
They
all
didn't
that
have
pressure
an end.
on the inside from those big linemen. They get in there and get their hands up in the air and don't give the quarterback that much time to look downfield.
But somebody made a mistake. I don't know who it was, but you hope to catch a team make a mistake and hit that open man, because it doesn't happen that often.
Certainly not with the Edmonton Eskimos. Emilio Frietta on the punt return, and he is down to his own 50-yard line by Hal Lund.
Don, the Eskimos have had great field position on every series but one this afternoon. They start out again with in excellent shape here at the BC 50.
There's my old buddy Tom Wilkinson on the sidelines. He's always waiting to get in the ball game, and you know, as contented as Tom may look at times, he's a great competitor, and he wishes nothing more than being in that ball game and making a contribution.
Well, this is going to be his last season. There have been rumors over the past couple of years about Wilkinson packing it in, but I talked with him, and he said this is definitely going to be it. Complete to Marco Sincar, first down at the 42.
That's just an excellent throw right there to Sincar. Just excellent right here. BC is going to be in a zone defense, a little play action to Germany to buy some time. He gets the outside receiver down the field, and Sincar comes into that open area. He gets it over top of Proudfoot's head and dumps it right in the hole of Sincar. This is great.
That couldn't be thrown any better either. As you say, he got right in between the two defenders, and the ball was right on the money. If that ball was misthrown that time, it could have been an interception, but it was a perfect pass.
Gary Parker was the man who made the tackle with 4:44 remaining in the half. 1st and 10, Edmonton at the BC 41. Little swing pass intended for Neil Lumsden. He could not squeeze it. It will be 2nd and 10 from the 41.
Well, coming back to Tom Wilkinson, I think Vic Rapp, Don, you were there the other day when we were sitting talking with Vic Rapp. I think he paid Tom Wilkinson one of the biggest compliments I've ever heard a football player paid. He said that when Tom retires and leaves the Edmonton Eskimos, that they'll never be the same, that he's been the guts of their football team and has probably been as instrumental in their success as any one man that's ever been here.
And how, whether he's throwing it underhand or behind his back, he has done some strange things in the football field, but he has most often produced winning plays. Intended for Tommy Scott, he was being covered by Devon Ford, and I think that Moon had to throw that a little sooner than he wanted to because that pressure was coming.
The BC Lions are getting to him a little bit. They're putting that pressure on from Murray and Hebler like they have to do to contain him, and he had to throw it a little bit before he wanted to, as you said, but they were in a man coverage that time, and the ball's a little bit too far to make the reception.
Well, if BC can get themselves a little bit of field position here, they might be able to do something. This is a pretty close ball game, 3 points away. You know, everybody was kind of under the impression that if Edmonton didn't blow them out real early in the ball game, that it was going to be very close, and this is an indication of it right here.
Alisic stands at his own 53. A direct snap to Ketley. On the gamble, they are going to be stopped short at the 35-yard line. And that's something else the Edmonton Eskimos do. They will try and fool you. They're not afraid to gamble.
They're not afraid to try anything. You'll see in the punt formation, he just hits Kepley, and he comes around the end with it. Neil Lumsden didn't get started fast enough for him, and he tries to cut back in to find the seam. There's just nowhere to go, and the BC Lions, that's as good a field position as they've had today around at 35.
Well, you say they'll try anything on any place on the field, but at this stage of the ball game, with the ball game as close as it is, they've got have an awful lot of confidence in that defense to use that kind of a play.
Well, they got the confidence in the defense. They're not really concerned. Their defense has bailed them out a lot of times. You know, everybody talks about the yardage that the Eskimos are giving up through the air, but that's because they're going to play pressure with you and gamble with you, and it's brought them through a long way. I mean, they've only lost one this year.
You're right, Ron. It's a misleading statistic about the yardage that's been gained against them through the air because everybody doesn't run against them.
First and 10. At the 35. Pow going deep. They've got it. Sharuk is down to the 15-yard line. There is also a penalty flag.
Now we're going to see whether it's going to be offensive interference or defensive interference.
That's a good call. This is a... We got to take a look at this. You'll see him going down the sideline. He's going to try to lay it deep down the sideline. He doesn't do it. Now, who's going to grab who? Let's see what they call.
Highbaugh.
Okay.
They rule that Highbaugh interfered with Sharuk. It really doesn't matter.
Pass interference, Edmonton number 13.
And a big play for the BC Lions. They are now first and 10 at the 16-yard line. From their own 35, one play plus down to the 16-yard line. Pow for Ricky Ellis. He's wide open. Touchdown.
Boy, he was wide open, too. Maybe that was another one of those blown plays in the secondary, Ron. Let's take another look at it.
I think there is. I mean, when you see the corner and the halfback, Holloman and Jones get together to discuss it after the play, it usually means something went wrong. Anyway, Ellis goes to the outside and turns it upfield as Tyrone Gray goes to the post, and nobody is out there with him, and Ellis is wide open behind everybody, and he gives the Lions the lead. There you go. You'll see him come to the outside, turns upfield, and he's got Ed Jones by 8 or 9 steps. No problem.
It wasn't a blown play. He just beat Jones badly, that's all.
No doubt about that.
Joined after by Pasaglia. And the BC Lions have the lead for the first time in the ball game. They're in front 13-9 with 2:54 left to play in the half.
At Canadian Pacific, we've been navigating around the world for a long time. But during the Second World War, we helped airmen of the Commonwealth Air Training Plan find their way around. With the RCAF, we operated 6 schools training air navigators. And the 3/4 of all those trained in Canada during the war graduated from these schools.
Today is Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
We finally opened our doors. There's not a soul in sight. We worked hard and planned it all. We hope it turns out right.
Making a Carlsberg for me and my friends. Making a Carlsberg. Making a Carlsberg. Making a Carlsberg, my friends.
Brian Williams is standing by at Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton, and at halftime he'll be talking to the coach of the Eastern champion Ottawa Roughriders, George Brancato. So that will be part of our halftime show, a live conversation from Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton with George Brancato, who this afternoon led his Roughriders to a 17-13 upset of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Vic Rapp would dearly love to duplicate that effort this afternoon at Commonwealth Stadium.
There's the play over again, and he just absolutely beat Jones 7 yards badly in the end zone, caught the ball, and it's a touchdown. And Vic Rapp yesterday was quietly confident in his football game. I got the feeling, Don, that that Edmonton was a little smug about their advantage in this game, but Rapp was quietly confident, and he must feel pretty good about the way things are going right now.
Indeed he must. Gary Hayes was swarmed under by 4 BC downfield tacklers led by Don Taylor. Well, that's the way you have to strike against these Edmonton Eskimos quickly.
That touchdown really lit a fire because that BC Lion kickoff coverage team came down the field. They weren't going to be denied there, and they only got that ball out to the 20-yard line. That's good coverage.
The Eskimos first and 10 with 2:34 left in the half. Moon looking deep for Brian Kelly. He can't catch up with it. Kelly turned around and claimed to the official that he was interfered with by Kenny Hinton, but no flag on the play. It will be 2nd and 10.
I thought he had pretty good coverage on him. The ball had to be thrown deep. Tommy Scott, the inside receiver, had fallen down. He didn't have anyone else to throw the ball to, and they're coming after him. Hinton's got excellent coverage on him. He's got the better position, and the ball's thrown far enough. Doesn't look like much interference to me. That's good.
No, he might have just jerked him on the arm and said hello, but he certainly didn't try to pull him down or anything like that.
Kenny Hinton, the veteran of that BC secondary, doing a good job on Brian Kelly. Movement at the line of scrimmage. This is a free one for the Eskimos as Moon got the pass away to Germany, but there was movement. It seemed that Mac Moore jumped prior to the ball being centered.
It might have been a free one, but he got hit. Germany really took a good hit right there from Proudfoot coming up, so he doesn't want to take too many like that.
But you can't give up that good field position. You just can't have those penalties down there. That's the second penalty that's hurt him. Mac Moore right over the center. You know, the guy watching the ball, how in the world he can jump off sides? He's looking right at the football.
He had his eyes closed. Oh, he didn't want to see that big hitting in there. There he is. He threw that touchdown. He came back after that fake punt in 2 plays, put 7 on the board, and that's what you got to do to the Eskimos, and he really did it quick.
So with the penalty, it's 2nd and 5 now. The ball is at the 26. 2:22, the time remaining in the half. Penalty flag goes down. The pass dropped by Sam Britz. Well, the linebackers have all had a shot now. First Jackson, then Konar, now Britz, and they've all dropped the potential interception.
Moon was looking around thinking, well, who do I throw to next? He's got all the time in the world to throw right here. He tries to throw it into that seam again. Ball's not thrown as well, and as you see, it really should be intercepted right there. He just dropped the ball. BC Lions are playing excellent football so far, and that touchdown's going to get them going. They're going to go in at halftime possibly with the opportunity to extend the lead, but they should go in with the lead right now.
Well, I think the BC Lions have done an excellent job defensively, and that rough play penalty against the Edmonton Eskimo moved them further back, and the Lions will have good field position prior to heading to the dressing room for the halftime break. And that defensive unit is handled by Vince Tobin. And yesterday when we talked with Vic Rafflio, he was extolling the virtues of Vince Tobin, and he said if any team in the CFL is looking for a head coach, this man should get a look.
I'd be a little bit concerned if my head coach said that about me.
Devon Ford to the 45 to the 44-yard line, tackled by Tom Towns.
Oh, I don't think so.
No, I'm sure he meant
Vic brought him up from Missouri. He did a heck of a job. He's done a great job for that defense for the BC Lions. Devon has a heck of a time catching the ball, but when he gets hold of it, he tries to split those Edmonton Eskimos rushers right there and almost gets away, but he's got great field. This is the best field position the Lions have had to start with today.
They talk about Key having some light feet. This guy's got some light feet, too. I think he could run in 10 feet of snow and never make a track.
Well, where he comes from, he isn't used to snow. Joe Pawpaw, a native of Samoa. John Henry White is buried back at the 52. Just nowhere for him to go.
He tried to throw that little slip screen out there again and get those linemen up, but Dale Potter, he's having none of that. He fought off the block and got into the backfield and made the hit on him, and had to give the Eskimos time to recover and drop him for a loss. Dale Potter needed to make that, because if they get it out there, there's room to go.
2:02 left in the half. 13-9. The BC Lions leading the Eskimos. Ricky Ellis with a second quarter touchdown. All the scoring for the Eskimos off the toe of Dave Cutler.
Big play right here. That play hurt him with field position. Pow Pow needs to get some of that real estate back.
He's going deep, looking for Tyrone Gray. It's going to be picked off by the Eskimos. Mike McLeod back at the 5-yard line.
I don't think that was a very good use of judgment that time, intercepting that ball back there on 2nd down. That's better than a punt, Don.
Indeed it is. It puts the Eskimos way back at their own 5.
He just tried to outrun Ed Jones with it, but Mike McLeod playing that free safety position back there did his job. That means you stay deep. Don't let anybody behind it. It's just as good as a punt. He's got Edmonton penned in down on their 6-yard line with a minute and a half left in a half. But McLeod did his job. He's got to be deeper than anybody. Campbell and Cal Murphy, they got to be a little bit concerned right now.
Well, I think that McLeod must have a bonus on interceptions or something, because there's no way that he should have intercepted that one.
Oh, you got to pick it off. That's what he's paid to do.
1:37 is the time left
on the 6-yard line.
Intended for Waddell Smith on the sidelines. He was overthrown, and he was covered well. It will be 2nd and 10 from the 6-yard line. You know, you talked about Hugh Campbell and Cal Murphy being uptight. They seem to be rather relaxed. Cal Murphy was smiling and laughing at the bench.
He might have been smiling, but I don't think Coach Campbell would be smiling. Well, you noticed as you were talking earlier, Coach Rapp with the Lions, he was very loose yesterday, and we really had a good time talking with him. Coach Campbell, on the other hand, he wasn't quite as loose. He was up a little bit tight yesterday.
But he'd cry with a loaf of bread under his arm, and he's just that kind of a guy.
Jim Germany is stopped after a gain of 2, and the Eskimos will be forced to kick it away. You lay awake nights trying to think up these expressions.
I wish I could have thought of a couple in the opening.
1:28 is the time left in the first half. 13-9. The Lions lead the Eskimos, and they'll be forced into a kicking situation again. The Lions will get good field position.
Oh, they're going to have great field position right now.
The BC Lions have called a timeout. We'll be back right after this.
This ark we call planet Earth is in serious trouble. We lose one wildlife species every single day. By the end of the 80s, it could be one an hour. In Canada, 15 wildlife species are on the brink of extinction, and the list is growing. Contribute to the World Wildlife Fund today. We'll see that every single cent saves wildlife.
The silent killer. High blood pressure is called the silent killer. It's often present and unknown to those who have it. It is a major risk factor leading to heart attack and stroke. Have your blood pressure checked today. For further information, contact your local Heart Foundation.
We're back at Commonwealth Stadium. 3rd down punt by Elisic. Fielded by Devon Ford. He wisely steps out of bounds at the 42.
That's a good move right there. Catch it, step out of bounds. Play used only 5 seconds. That gives them a minute and 23 seconds. They've got great field position. Pow Pow doesn't have to rush now. He can take his time, go to whatever he really wants to go to now without worrying about the clock running. He's got great field position to get him in there before the half again, and boy, that'll do a lot for him.
I'll tell you, he's had 2 receivers open, one on the one side of the field, and come back to Ellis for the touchdown on the other side of the field. And I just hope that, you know, for BC's sake, that he stays short here now and doesn't try to throw the thing through the end zone and just works his way in.
Pancratz and Saruk are out to the left. He comes back to the right, going deep for Tyrone Gray, and McLeod almost picked it off again, or I should say Joe Holloman. McLeod and Holloman were both there, and it was Holloman in the end zone who had it go off his fingertips.
Rough play.
Nick Hebler had a big game last Sunday against Winnipeg, sacking Dieter Brock 3 times, and he has been constantly pressuring Warren Moon this afternoon.
Watch the hit Pow Pow takes here. That Eskimo defense is coming right now. He steps up to throw. He knows he's going to get hit, and he really takes a couple shots right there. He landed very hard on the ground. He got up a little slow, but he's tough. He's ready to go.
Lions in that shotgun formation now. This is a new wrinkle to their offensive game plan. For Ricky Ellis, it's kicked off by Mike McLeod, his second interception of the game. He fumbled the ball. He got it back.
Great interception by McLeod there. They tried to throw it inside of Gary Hayes to Ellis, and he got a hand on it, and it deflected to Mike McLeod. You see Pow in the shotgun. Ellis is coming down the right side of the picture. He tries to drill it. He gets it in there. It's a little bit high. It's deflected, and McLeod catches it one hand. He tries to get outside of Tyrone Gray and drops the football.
I think Joe hurried that a little bit too. I think if he waited until the receiver broke past the defender, the middle was open that time, and he could have got the ball in there.
Mike McLeod, a second-year man from Montana State, with his second interception late in this first half. 13-9. The Lions lead the Eskimos. Edmonton first and 10 at their own 19. Deep for Waddell Smith. Incomplete. Kerry Parker had excellent position on Smith on the sidelines. I think Smith actually had to go out of bounds to get around him to get back in position to try and make the catch.
Good defense. There's no way you can catch the ball with this kind of coverage. The Moose decided to just air it out. He's going to lay it deep and let Waddell's speed take him to the ball. But you'll see the excellent coverage right there on him. And, you know, like he gets up and argues a little bit for interference. But that's great coverage. There's no way you're going to complete that one.
Remember, at halftime, we'll be going live to Iverwind Stadium in Hamilton. And we'll hear the comments of the Eastern champions, the coach, George Brancato.
What a guy he is.
Boone's in trouble. He gets away again. Now he throws deep, looking for Waddell Smith, incomplete.
I'll tell you, BC are hanging in there with those receivers pretty well. Normally when Moon gets himself out of trouble on a scramble like that, you'll see Kelly or Scott or one of those guys break open. But those white shirts are right on top of those green shirts this afternoon.
And you see here with Moon coming out of there, it's only a four-man rush. He can't get outside where he wants to go, so he's cut back inside. Murray almost gets him. He gets around him, and Waddell's down there, but Parker never leaves him. He makes him go after the ball. It has to be thrown out of bounds, and they're still going to have time on the clock to get something going.
53 seconds left in the half. Warren Moon experiencing some of the same frustration that Dieter Brock must have felt last Sunday. Excellent kick by Olisic. Crawford takes it at the 40. Still going. He fights his way to the Edmonton 52-yard line, finally brought down by Angelo Santucci with 39 seconds remaining in the half.
You know, those are great kicks by Olisic, but with the BC Lions, sometimes you can out-kick your coverage. When you kick it so far downfield, your people going downfield can't get down there underneath it. And with the BC Lions, that's dangerous because with Ford and Parker back there, they're excellent at returning kicks.
And those seams open up when they get that ball back there. When you outrun that coverage, you get down there too fast, as you say, Ron. Those seams open up. All you got to do is hit one of them, and you're off and running.
To Tyrone Gray, fumbles the football, no catch. They rule no catch. He was hit by Joe Holloman. The fans don't agree with the call, but I think it was probably a pretty good one. I don't think he ever had possession of that football.
Well, let's see if he did. That was a heck of a call. 50,000 people here disagree. He just goes down, stops, and turns around, and the ball comes up. I don't think he did either. I think he was still bobbling the football, and we just couldn't see it from that angle, but I think it was still being bobbled when he was hit by Holloman.
Huey Campbell walked halfway out in the field and said, "Aw, shucks," or something like that to the officials.
He said, "Are you sure?"
Or words to that effect.
Run that back.
Penalty flag goes down. The catch is made by Sharuk at the 40-yard line. However, there is a penalty flag. It was in the BC backfield, usually an indication of a holding call with 31 seconds left to play in this first half.
These Edmonton fans are imploring their Eskimos to do something. They're not used to seeing them at this stage of the ball game being behind, and especially in a critical game like this. We're getting some response out of that stands.
It's been a long time.
Sorry, John.
I was just going to say it's been a long time since the Eskimos haven't scored a touchdown in a full half of play.
I'm not sure how long it has been since the Eskimos were shut out as far as a touchdown is concerned in 30 minutes of football.
One thing that we do know is that BC hasn't allowed very many touchdowns in the last 3 games that they've played.
I think you might have to go all the way back to that Winnipeg game early in the season where they lost to the Blue Bombers in Winnipeg Stadium. John Henry White with a big run. He's got a first down for the Lions.
Coach Rapp really excited over on the sideline. That was a great call right there. I think everybody in here expected him to throw that ball up top, and they just hit John Henry White, and he split that Edmonton defense, and he's tough when he gets into the secondary.
Not only that, Ron, but I think I won a couple dollars off of you on that run.
Yeah, I think you did too. I didn't think you'd get that one.
.23 seconds remaining in the half. Pop out to the sidelines. Tyrone Gray steps out of bounds. A gain of about 7 or, well, make it 9 yards.
Just bent right outside there and caught the ball and stepped out of bounds using his head to save that clock. And Tyrone Gray now will do that. He'll step out of bounds and then look out the next time. They like Sharuk in a situation like this. Down around the 25-yard line, sure-handed Sharuk. He's another Toronto boy that's just done a great job for Vancouver since he's gone out there to play with the BC Lions.
On second down, John Henry White looking for the first, and he's got it at the 25. Tom Towns pulled the feet out from under John Henry White with 14 seconds left. Now, I'm not sure what the situation is in reference to John Wells' comment about when the last time was the Eskimos failed to score a touchdown in 30 minutes, but I know they have been devastating in the fourth quarter against opponents, outscoring them 160-72 in the final 15 minutes of a ball game. Sideline pattern, good defensive play. Joe Holloman read that one well. He knocked it away from Al Sharuk.
I'll tell you, that's a heck of a gamble right there. You know, you come up like that and miss it, and they go the other way. He almost picks it up and goes for a touchdown right here. But, boy, that's reading in a hurry. He comes diving in front. The ball hits him on the arm. I think if he'd have been looking, he'd have caught that thing on a dead run. That's excellent defense.
9 seconds. Time left in the half. It's 2nd and 10 from the 26.
They go for the end zone this time.
Incomplete. Ricky Ellis slipped as he was trying to come back with 5 seconds remaining in the half. And the field goal unit comes out for the Lions.
He didn't really want to throw that ball right then. It wasn't a real good throw, but he had David Boone right on top of him. Ellis is going back to the inside. He tries to come back out and get it, but he slips and falls. Papal had to let that go before he wanted to. He had good pressure from David Boone, and if he'd have got the time, I think Ellis was open.
This field goal try by Lou Casaglia from 33 yards out. It's good. And the BC Lions add to their lead. It's now 16-9 with 2 seconds left in the half.
That's a converted touchdown. That's a big 3 points.
Last year, Don, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers took a pretty substantial halftime lead to the dressing room over the Eskimos, you may recall.
A reverse situation a year ago, though, John, in that the Edmonton Eskimos scored late in the first half in that ball game when Winnipeg was out in front 14-3, I believe. In this particular situation, the BC Lions, while they didn't get a touchdown, did come up with a very valuable 3-point.
You think that the BC defensive backs are going to allow him to throw deep?
He isn't even going to try.
He couldn't have thrown it over top of Proudfoot with a gun.
That ends the first half. We invite you now to stay tuned for our halftime show as we'll be switching to Hamilton.
Mining. It's a $32 billion industry in Canada, employing more than 350,000 Canadians in mining and related activities, exporting to over 90 countries. Mining touches the lives of all of us from coast to coast. The industry is assisted by the Government of Canada in many ways. Energy Mines and Resources Canada studies and maps the geology of the whole country, providing a valuable aid to exploration, and through continuing research, helps to develop better, safer, cleaner methods of extracting and processing our natural wealth. The industry's developers are helped through Regional Economic Expansion Canada by major contributions to the building of access roads. And the Government of Canada is also a key player in promoting export sales. For free information about these and other Government of Canada services in your area, write to us at this address. Brought to you by the Government of Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome AC and the Delcos.
Spark plugs and batteries. Whatever your tune-up needs. Please don't hold to break my heart with just any old part. It should be Delco, AC Delco, AC Delco. Shooby-doo-wop-bop, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, AC Delco. D-E-L-C-O.
16-9 is the halftime score at Commonwealth Stadium. The Lions leading the Eskimos. Perhaps an upset in the making. There certainly was in the East this afternoon. 17-13. Ottawa beat Hamilton. Here's Brian Williams with George Brancato.
All right, thank you very much, Don. It is a rather subdued Ottawa dressing room here. The players have left for the airport. George Brancato has kindly agreed to wait behind. Now, we're going to see the winning touchdown, but to me it was your defense that won the game, and here's the interception by Cook.
Well, that started it. Tommy had the ball right there for a field goal to put him 8 points ahead, and we got an interception, and was followed right back by Stoker's long touchdown, and this kind of put us back in the football game.
All right, here is that touchdown by Stokwa. We see the rollout by Watts, and Stokwa is off and running.
Well, you can see what happened right there. The Hamilton Ticats all collided. 4 of them went down, and Stokwa was 15 yards in behind them, and right there he makes a great move, and there it is. There's the touchdown, and put us ahead 14-13, and we never looked back.
Well, George Brancato, it's Don Whitman here in Edmonton. Did you have any thoughts at all in that ball game today about throwing Kevin Starkey in and giving us one of these shots?
Yeah, well, we did, Leo. Right before the interception by Cook, Starkey was warming up, and then Cook got the interception, and the pass was thrown right after that to Patty Stokely, and then we're ahead with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left, 14-13, so why change your quarterback there now? Put a guy that's been standing on the sideline all afternoon.
George, if you're watching this game, are you surprised by the result at the halftime, or do you really care who you play?
Ronnie, we got this far. I don't care who we play. I don't even want to watch the second half. Whoever shows up, we'll play him. But I'm surprised that BC's playing so well, and I think it's the same situation. Edmonton's sitting around like Hamilton and not playing any intense football are rather stale.
George, have you had a chance to assess your injuries after the ball game? How does it look for going into that Grey Cup?
Well, we know definitely Bruce Walker is out. He dislocated his arm, and Rudy Phillips is probably out with a torn bicep. But big problem is Tony Gabriel hurt his knee, had to come out of the game in the fourth quarter, and we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that he will get back in. It was kind of a contusion type thing. It wasn't a twist or a cartilage or anything, so we got our fingers crossed that Tony will be ready to go when we come into Montreal.
Well, we certainly hope that he is ready to go for the Grey Cup game next Sunday afternoon at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. And congratulations to George Brancato and the Ottawa Rough Riders, the Eastern champion. We'll be back with the Western Coaches All-Star right after this.
In 1885, building the railway was just a beginning for us, the Canadian Pacific. The line ran through a great lone wilderness in the west, and along with the government, we took on the task of settling it. By 1923, almost 3 million newcomers had arrived, and we at Canadian Pacific had spent $68 million on the promotion of immigration and settlement.
Today's Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
Firestone Traction. It's why our name gets around in snow-covered forests and on snow-covered roads. Traction designed for Canadian winters. Snowbiter from Firestone.
Carlsberg Light. All right. Well, it's here, and it's one good beer. Carlsberg Light. All right. Cold as ice, It's one real good beer. Crack a cold one now and see. Why, it's that light, refreshing taste for me. Carlsberg Light? Well, all right. Well, it's here. Good beer.
The 1981 Western All-Stars as selected by the 5 head coaches. And Edmonton is 3 for 5 along the offensive line. The anchor, the veteran from BC, playing his 10th season, Al Wilson. In 1977, the outstanding lineman in the CFL, number 52, is Mr. Seniority with the BC Lions. The guards from Winnipeg, Larry Butler, the Western nominee for outstanding offensive lineman, and he is Dieter Brock's top pass protector in Winnipeg. And from Edmonton, the other guard is Eric Upton, senior member of the Edmonton line with the retirement of Bob Howes prior to this season. The tackles, both from Edmonton, both Canadians. Bill Stevenson played high school football for former Eskimo great Johnny Bright. Hector Pache is a native of St. Catharines, Ontario, had a great career at St. Mary's University in Halifax. The ends are a Saskatchewan Rough Rider and an Edmonton Eskimo. The Eskimo is Tom Scott, number 22, 12 passes, 174 yards, 3 touchdowns in last year's Grey Cup game. This year, 73 receptions for more than 1,200 yards. From Saskatchewan, a most important part of the Great Rider comeback in 1981, number 17, Joey Walters, led the conference in passing yardage, 1,715 yards. And the backfielders from the 2 Western finalists. Number 11, Larry Key, finished the 1981 season with 1,098 yards rushing. That was only 9 yards behind Calgary's James Sykes. From Edmonton, Jim Germany, more than 5,000 yards in 5 years. He and Larry Key each had 19 touchdowns for 114 points. The first players to do that since Jerry James with Winnipeg in 1957. And the receivers also from Edmonton and the Lions. From the Eskimos, Brian Kelly, CFL Rookie of the Year in 1979. This year, Kelly had 74 passes for 1,665 yards. From British Columbia, Tyrone Gray missed 10 games in 1980 with an injury. This season missed all of training camp, but he was Joe Papau's favorite receiver for more than 1,428 yards. And the quarterback, last year's outstanding player in the CFL, Dieter Brock is nominated again. His passing yardage, 4,796, surpassing the old record held by Sam Etcheverry. And the Western defense on the line. 2 Eskimos, a Rough Rider, and a Lion. From the Eskimos, Dave Fennell. An Edmonton product, a practicing lawyer, number 65, a 2-time Shenley winner. And the other tackle is Rough Rider Mike Samples, drafted by the Atlanta Falcons of the NFL in 1973, joined the Riders in 1978, and number 66 has anchored their defensive line ever since. The ends are from BC and Edmonton. From the Eskimos, number 40, James Parker. His nickname is Quick because he has exceptional speed off the ball and a lightning-quick pass rush. From the BC Lions, Nick Heveler attended high school in Coquitlam, and then Simon Fraser. Heveler, one of the fastest linemen on the BC team, resulting in that great pursuit by number 58. Linebackers from the Rough Riders, Lions, and Eskimos. From Edmonton, perennial All-Star Dan Kepley, number 42, the CFL's outstanding defensive player last year, the Western nominee again in 1981. From the Lions, Glenn Jackson, one of the best outside men in the entire CFL, number 37 in his 6th year, another product of Simon Fraser University. Saskatchewan signed Vince Goldsmith as a free agent prior to the season. Seen here making the tackle, number 78, the Western nominee for CFL Rookie of the Year. The Deepbacks, 2 Bombers, an Eskimo, and 2 Stampeders. Al Burleson joined the Stampeders in 1976, and number 27 has had an outstanding 1981. Teammate Ray Odoms is a coach's All-Star for the 3rd time. He's not known for his interceptions, the reason being the other teams stay away from number 32. Winnipeg's Charles Williams, was first selected for the Western All-Star team last year. This year, number 20 intercepted 3 passes. The story here, he returned 2 of those interceptions for Winnipeg touchdowns. Edmonton's Ed Jones led the CFL in interceptions 1 year ago with 10. Strong again this year, 7 interceptions, tied for second place overall. And from Winnipeg, Vince Faison, his reputation for pass coverage well known in the CFL, and the quarterbacks usually avoid number 9 in his side of the field. And the specialty teams in kickoff returns, a Stampeder and a Lion. From Calgary, the incomparable James Sykes led the CFL in rushing and was second in the league in kickoff returns. 25 returns for 590 yards for number 11 from the Calgary Stampeders. The best in the CFL, the Lions' Devon Ford, the Appalachian State graduate, led the Canadian Football League. 36 returns for a total of 888 yards. The punt returners from BC and Winnipeg, the Blue Bombers' Paul Bennett, a former Argonaut, led the Western Conference in punt returns in 1981. 72 returns, 892 yards. First in kickoff returns, BC's Devon Ford, second in punt returns. Now, the most valuable players, no question on offense, Winnipeg quarterback Dieter Brock. On defense, Edmonton linebacker Dan Kepley. And the top rookie is Vince Goldsmith. All 3 are Shenley nominees. The 1981 Western All-Stars as selected by the 5 Western head coaches.
Broken trust.
Brenda Lee and the Oak Ridge Boys headline K-Tel's Super Country 81.
Oh, darling, how I love to
The year's biggest hits.
What if drinking don't kill?
The year's hottest star. Super Country 81. Part of K-Tel's Sound Celebration. Super Country 81. It's in stores now.
Spend a little time with Sanyo, and you'll have the time of your life. It's a big sound that goes a long way. It's never missing your favorite play. It's a meal prepared while you're away. It's enjoying sports in a big way. Spend a little time with Sanyo. Spend a little time of your life. 'Cause Sanyo makes life's good things better.
I've got a story for all you people who use MasterCard just to go shopping. I used it for my moving expenses. I got a new tire in Laval, a tow in Pembroke, and a battery in North Bay. I even got a cash advance when I ran short in Sudbury. And now that that's over with, I'll have a record of this unforgettable trip when I get my MasterCard statement. It's not like I use it every day, but I'm sure glad I had it on this trip.
MasterCard. Such an intelligent way to cope.
Thank you, MasterCard.
The BC Lions lead the Edmonton Eskimos 16-9 here at the end of the first half. The BC Lions up 16-9. The Edmonton Eskimos went on the scoreboard first with a field goal by Dave Cutler, but on the ensuing kickoff, Devon Ford takes the ball deep in his own area of the field. He starts up the field, cuts to his left, gets a great block by Kearns and Crawford, and he takes off for the goal line, and only the speed of Waddell Smith catches him from behind. He actually gives him a push, and he's ruled that he steps out of bounds on the 2-yard line, and from there the BC Lions are unable to get the touchdown, but they kick the field goal to tie the score at 3-3. In the second quarter, with a third down situation, the Eskimos try a fake punt, and the ball snapped directly to Dan Kepley, who tries to sweep the right side, but the BC Lions are aware of it. They stop the play, and they take over with the ball with good field position. On the first play, they gain 50 yards, and then an isolation shot of Ellis is going to score a touchdown on a second down and 16-yard touchdown pass as he goes out and down on Ed Jones and is wide open in the end zone, and Pow hits him and puts the BC Lions in front 13-9. Late in the second half, the second quarter, Pow from a shotgun tries to throw the ball to Ricky Ellis. He jumps and tips the ball, and McLeod makes a one-handed catch to snuff out the BC drive. That's McLeod's second interception of the first half. Our final highlight of the first half, John Henry White on a 2nd and long. They surprise everybody in the place when they hand off to John Henry White. He busts inside and makes a good game for the BC Lions to gain a first down. So right now, with the Lions leading 16-9, we'll be back to our halftime show immediately following this message.
In the late 1920s at Canadian Pacific, our name often looked like this in Northern Ontario. 3 R's stood for reading, writing, and arithmetic. For 40 years with the Department of Education, we operated traveling classrooms to bring formal schooling to children in isolated communities. To them, there were 4 R's to education, and one of them was railway.
Today's Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
It was a mystery to us how she could live in these practical times, yet still retain a certain sense of style and flair. Her 1982 Cutlass Supreme, for example. Her roomy, comfortable Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. How were we to know that that Cutlass was really a reflection of her practical side? It certainly didn't show, but she knew. Even today, there's still room to do it with style.
This is gold, and this is gold. Carlsberg Gold, a premium brew that's worth discovering, worth savoring from time to time. Perhaps when good friends visit, discover Carlsberg Gold, always in good taste.
Don Whitman along with Ron Lancaster, Leo Cahill, and John Wells at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Capacity of Commonwealth Stadium for this game increased to over 52,000, and every seat is filled. Disappointed so far for most of them at the fact the Eskimos are trailing the BC Lions in this Western final by a score of 16-9. Vic Rapp quietly confident yesterday that his team would play well today. So far they have. They have made very few mistakes. Statistically, the Eskimos had the edge in rushing thanks to the scrambling ability of quarterback Warren Moon. It was late in the half that the BC Lions put their aerial attack together. One big strike to Al Sharuk and then the touchdown throw accounting for 74 of the 113 passing yards. Warren Moon hitting on just 7 of 21 passes, and I'm sure he knows now how Dieter Brock felt last Sunday.
It's an unusual situation for a quarterback that hit over 62% of his passes during the regular season, but these BC Lions in the past 3 games, their defense has been super, and they showed Dieter last week that they know how to play pass defense, and they've shown it again in the first half here.
Ron, I'd like to bring up something with both of you, as a matter of fact. We talked about it before. I think that most quarterbacks have solved the problem of how to pass against 5 people. Vic Rapp, in games this year, has employed 6 and even 7 defensive backs. And I think that, as much as anything else, may be what is confusing the Eskimos.
I'll tell you, when you look downfield and see about 6 or 7 different colored jerseys down there, and they just cover the field in a zone type of coverage and just get into those lanes, you have to throw the ball perfectly in there to get it in there and complete a pass. And that's why you're seeing so many swing passes being thrown out of the backfield, because they can't get it in those seams and those curl areas like they used to be able to do. So the best that they can hope for is to rear back and throw it deep, and then on occasion, when they get those defensive backs going deep, throw the short outs and make that defensive back hang off of them. But you want to talk about reads, it's tough to read, Ron.
The kickoff with the Edmonton Eskimos. Hayes bringing it back to the 29-yard line, brought down there by Larry Crawford. Ron, I'll give you an opportunity.
And further in what you're talking about, Leo, I agree with everything you said, and it really puts the pressure on those front 4 people of the BC Lions, and they've been getting an outstanding performance today from those 4 people up there. They have harassed Warren Moon more than he's been harassed for a while, and this in turn allows them to put those defensive backs into the ball game. So it's a team game, and that's how your secondary and your front 4 have to work together.
I think Vic Rapp is trying to put the emphasis on getting the rush from the outside, containing Moon, not letting him get outside. If he does run, make him run up inside and then closing in and trying to punish him when he runs with the football.
Incomplete, intended for Brian Kelly on the far side of the field. It will be 2nd and 10. He was being covered by Ken Hinton.
See, right there's a good example of it. They were just sitting in a zone defense. and Warren Moon makes his read to that side of the field. He knows where he's going to go, but he has 3 receivers there, and they forced him to go to the widest one on the field where it's the hardest pass to throw, and it gives their defensive backs time to react to the ball while it's in the air. It's good defense, and they're making the Eskimos earn everything they get.
2nd and 10 from the 30. Moon up the middle. He's stopped short. Good hit by Kevin Konar. Konar, the University of British Columbia graduate, coming up when it looked as though Warren Moon had some room in which to escape up the middle. So 3rd and 4 faces the Eskimos. They are forced to kick it away. They trail 16-9. A full house here this afternoon for the Western Final. Olympic Stadium will be jammed to capacity next Sunday afternoon as well for the 1981 Grey Cup game. One team that will be there, the Ottawa Rough Riders. And of course, you'll see all the coverage on the CBC television network. Not only the game, but the pre-game activities, Grey Cup Festival, and to look at the season just passed. Penalty flag flies, face mask violation against Leo Blanchard as he grabbed Devon Ford.
This is pretty good coverage by Blanchard. He's coming hard, and Devon Ford does what a good back should do. He sidesteps him, and all that he can do, Blanchard, is reach out and grab him, and he gets the face mask, which is going to cost him 15 yards. Good move by Ford.
On a case like that, too, Ron, it's not a matter of trying to go after the face mask. There's the call right there. It was the face mask. It's not a matter of trying to go after the face mask. You just, as you're going down there and converging, that man makes the move. You try to grab anything you can, and it just happens that that face mask is very exposed there.
Plus Ford's not that big. Not that tall.
Something nice to get a hold of.
The Lions are at their own 40. The second man is Larry Key. He gets just a couple of yards before he's driven back by 4 Edmonton defenders led by middle linebacker Dan Kepley. I noticed that Pete Laverato is in at the safety position. We caught a glimpse of the Edmonton bench just as we started the second half. Hugh Campbell talking to trainer Jim Adams with safety Mike McLeod on the bench, and McLeod was limping towards the end of the first half, and with Laverato in there, perhaps he is unable to continue.
Having a good first half with those 2 interceptions, too.
Swinging it out to John Henry White. He gets 1 block. He's got a first down out to the 52. Stopped by Dale Potter.
The Edmonton defense forced Pow to go to the swing to White, but what happened there was that Pankratz and the other receiver downfield made good blocks and allowed him to make the first down. You'll see Kepley and Potter drop out of there into the zone. Pow looks downfield, can't find what he wants. He jumps to White, and you'll see the 2 BC receivers do a pretty good job of letting him get far enough to get that first down.
The protection was extremely good that time, but the coverage was good downfield, but that swing back was open for the first down.
Larry Key trying to get outside to the line of scrimmage and no further. Dale Potter. That serves to further reinforce the comment you 2 gentlemen made earlier that the passing yardage compiled against the Eskimos is misleading because you have to throw, you can't run against them.
You won't make a living with it, that's for sure.
And I think at this particular juncture of the ball game, Huey Campbell has to be more than just a little concerned. Terry Bailey goes to the bench for the Lions. John Pankratz comes in. 11:46 is the time left to play in this third quarter. 16-9, the BC Lions lead. Complete to Al Sharuk. There's a penalty flag in the play. Sharuk struggling for additional yardage, but he is not going to escape the grasp of Larry Highbaugh.
This is going to be a very interesting call right here. I don't know exactly what they're calling.
I think it's going against the Lions.
You'll see right here, they run like what you want to call a pick play or a crossing play, whatever it is. The referees rule it a pick. I know the offensive coaches call it a crossing pattern. It's never illegal to them, but the referees caught them.
I think you'll see Pankratz come here and just use both hands, shove the defender out of the way. He was called on it.
It was offensive pass interference, BC number 21.
Pankratz indeed was the man, and that moves the ball back to the 44-yard line. It will be 2nd down and 20.
Pick is something you ought to know something about, Ron. You used to pick us every time we got man for man when I was in Toronto.
Well, we never ran a pick. They're illegal.
I know it's an illegal pick. It's an illegal play, and you used to run it every chance you got.
You know what a break for the Eskimos to have a guy like Laverato on the bench. You know, he is a starter. He started for a few years for him. He can step in there and do a great job.
This is a big second down play for the Lions. Pass was short, intended for Ricky Ellis. I think as Joe Paopao was throwing, the man who helped him to his feet, James Parker, was roughly depositing him on the turf.
Ricky Ellis was open on that play, and it's a good thing they got the pressure on Paopao, because otherwise he's going to lay it out there for Ellis to go get it, and he was behind the coverage. But boy, that rush means an awful lot to a defensive back.
Lou Pasaglia stands at the 30. Pasaglia and Dave Cutler have each hit on their 3 field goal attempts. You notice who was rushing from the outside in that punt? That was Hank Olisa. On the return, Frietti gets out to the 49-yard line.
That's just good effort on his part. That's good return.
10:52 is the time remaining in the third quarter.
Chevy makes good things happen.
Your kind of car, Chevy Cavalier.
With your kind of ride and just your kind of stride, for value and comfort, Chevy is the one.
Cavalier with state-of-the-art technology, 43 standard features, and front-wheel drive maneuverability.
Step into the good times. Chevy makes it happen. Good things happen with Chevrolet.
The remarkable Philishave with the lift and cut system. 45 rotary action blades, every one of which has a unique lifter that gently lifts the hair while the cutter behind shaves it closer. Philishave from Phillips. Now you don't have to get wet to get close.
Well, we've got both a duck and a goose patrolling the sidelines here at Commonwealth Stadium.
Well, who's going to win that confrontation, Ron?
I don't know. Football games, we're getting more animals at football games than we are players.
I always thought they had quite a few animals on the field.
First and 10. The Eskimos at their own 49. They trail by 7. Complete to Marco Sincar. He's down to the 34. Kevin Konar is the man who made the tackle. That time, Moon had the protection.
Well, that's one of the things that makes Moon so good. He's back there with a lot of poise. He can feel that pressure coming. He looks downfield, and he gets that thing right in between the 2 defenders to Sincar, and Sincar takes it for the first down. Well, he's had a lot of pressure on him this entire ball game, and he's still showing the poise that a great quarterback has.
Back to the live action, first and 10 at the 34. That quick release over the middle, and it's a gain of about 4 yards at the 30-yard line. Jim Germany stopped by Glenn Jackson.
They turned the outside rusher of BC loose that time when they sent all those backs out of that backfield, and he's coming on a direct line at Warren Moon, forced him to dump the ball to Germany, and Glenn Jackson was there to nail him on a good hit. You're not going to gain many yards on that when those defensive backs are on top of him that way.
9:26 remaining in the third quarter. Second and 6. This is a big play.
They're coming on the blitz.
For Waddell Smith, he can't hang on. Waddell Smith could not hang on, and Warren Moon was dumped just as he released. Smith was in the open.
Here it is right here. You see Sam Britz now. He goes through there tough. The ball is thrown in spite of a tremendous blitz on him right there, and right into the hands of Waddell Smith, but he was hit and jolted away from the football, and it was incomplete.
Dave Cutler's 4th field goal try of the afternoon from 37 yards out.
I'll tell you, Moon took a real hit on that.
Cutler is good. And with 8:53 remaining in the third quarter, it's now 16-12. The BC Lions in front.
Actually, the Lions were, I think, fortunate to come out of there with just a field goal scored upon them because the momentum was with Edmonton, and they were coming down there and looked like they were going to do something, but that tremendous tackle in there on Waddell Smith, jolting that ball loose, changed it around a little bit. Now, BC has the ball and a chance to do something with it.
Just surprised me right here, Don, that they're going to take the ball in the 35 rather than have the Eskimos kick off when that's, you know, what he did with that one. He ran it back all the way to the 2.
Tyrone Gray on the sidelines trying to get away from Highbaugh. He'll be stopped about a yard short of a first down.
Good call by Pow right here on first down. They haven't had much success running, but here you'll see that all that happens is Tyrone Gray just goes down the field and just stops. Turns around and looks right at Pow, and he throws it right at his numbers, catches the ball. Highbaugh makes the tackle, but they're going to get close to 10. They're going to have to measure. That'll keep you out of those second and long. Nothing fancy to that. That is, you can throw that almost on anybody, and it's not a big play, but it keeps drives alive, and it keeps you out of those second and longs.
This is something Pow wasn't doing earlier in his career, and even earlier this season. He wasn't being patient with those passes. That time he put maximum protection on. Everybody stayed in. The backs both stayed in, and he just worked on that one man down there. On the one-man pattern, he caught the ball. There's a couple other people involved in the pattern, but he knew who he was going to as soon as he dropped back.
All right, on second and inches, what would you call?
It's just second and inches, quarterback sneak. Ron, what about you?
Second and inches, I like to throw. Third and inches, your quarterback sneak. But, you know, Edmonton will not come up. They will not bring all 12 men up on the line. They'll always have their safety. In this instance, Laverato is going to be deep. They're going to protect against that pass, play-action pass, but you can still get it.
They're all jammed up there. It is a quarterback sneak. One for you, Leo.
Well, throwing on a situation like that's fine in exhibition season, but not now when you're getting ready to go to the Grey Cup. No reflection on you, Ron, because we never could beat you.
Edmonton has a slight edge in the area of first downs, 2 more than the Lions.
And we didn't win many Grey Cups either, Leo.
I ain't going to touch that one.
7:43 is the time left in the third quarter. It's a first down for the Lions just across their own 45. Pow fakes to the sidelines, then tries to throw deep for Gray. He was well covered over there by Joe Holloman. So it's 16-12 with 7:29 remaining in quarter 3.
Early in World War II, bombers were desperately needed in Britain. In the Canadian Pacific, we thought we could help. In a hectic race with time, we helped organize a transatlantic ferry service, and on November 10th, 1940, the first of many flights of bombers took off for Britain. The next year, the service was taken over by the Royal Air Force and became the world-famous Ferry Command.
Today is Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday, but we're planning for tomorrow.
We remind you that the very popular program, The Fifth Estate, will be seen on CBC television on Tuesday night on the full CBC television network.
On that preceding play, Don, Tyrone Gray didn't do a good job of acting. He wanted to go deep, but he didn't come up and stop and look at the quarterback. He just hesitated, and he didn't fool Holloman.
It's second and 10.
Here comes the big blitz.
Swinging it out to John Henry White, incomplete.
Well, I'll tell you, that looked almost like a lateral there.
That's why the scramble after the football. I'll tell you, it's hard to tell. The referee made the call. He's closer to it.
Kepley comes, and I don't think anybody even comes close to Kepley. He's in there without any blocker on him at all. The ball's thrown out there, and he just fumbled the ball. But it looked to me like it could have been a lateral, and if you cover that lateral or pick it up, you can run with it. But Ron, as you say, maybe the official saw it as just being a forward pass.
On that particular play, you have reason to believe that the Eskimo defensive unit was reading the BC Lions' mail.
Or we're in the huddle with him.
There's a great kick.
Frietta from his own 15. Fighting for extra yardage, still going down the sideline. I think they may rule that he stepped out. No, I guess he didn't. I thought he had maybe stepped out at about the 26. He got all the way to the 36 before forced out by Glenn Leonard.
Well, it's a good thing Leonard was there. He tiptoed down that sidelines, and Leonard jumped on him like a duck on a June bug down there, but he was the last one to get him, and if he would have got past Leonard, he may have gone all the way.
A 54-yard punt, a 26-yard run back, and Glenn Leonard was the man who, as Leo said, may have prevented Frietta from going all the way.
That Frietta does look like a little bug the way he runs.
Tommy Scott, the receiver, first down at the 49, tackled by Devon Ford.
It's a nice throw from Moon to Scott that time. He caught him in a man coverage. Moon rolls out to his outside, almost gets outside. You'll see him going, gets a good block right there, and then he got Jackson to contend with. He just drills it. Scott breaks to the sideline, and the ball's out in the fingertips away from the defensive back. There's what the quarterback sees. He just drills it. Scott makes the fingertip catch.
Back to the live action. 1st and 10 for the Eskimos. 5:44 remaining in the third quarter. Over the middle, incomplete, intended for Sincar.
Trying to hit him in the seam there before anybody can get to him, but he needed another 5 or 6 yards to get behind that linebacker. The seam was there, but Moon threw it a little bit early.
Biggest crowd of the season in the Canadian Football League here this afternoon at Commonwealth Stadium. Over 52,000 taking in the action. Commonwealth Stadium, not the biggest park in the country. Olympic Stadium in Edmonton, or in Montreal, has that distinction. However, the Alouettes had problems putting people in the park this season. Incomplete. Moon's pass intended for Brian Kelly. He was being covered by Ken Hinton, and Hinton has done a pretty good job this afternoon on Kelly.
Fantastic, and there's just nobody open down there. He looked right across the board to see if he could find anybody open. He finally went to Kelly on the outside, and there was just good coverage on Kelly there too. They had some protection in there. Brits tried to come on the blitz there, but the back picked him up, and the other back stayed in too and pick up the defensive end from the offside. But with the good protection he had, he still had excellent coverage downfield when he tried to throw the ball. This is a battle of field position now, and Olisic is a guy that can really improve the field position by his punting.
Taken by Devon Ford, trying to find some room down the sidelines. He got about 10 yards. A 51-yard kick by Hank Olisic. Pete Laverato was there to make the tackle after the return by Devon Ford.
That 10-yard return down in that end of the field, 10 yards is a great return right there. See Ford take it. He's looking for somewhere to run. He just wants a little bit of a hole. He turns that thing inside, gets a good hit right there by Frietta, puts a good hit on him on the sideline, but the BC Lions have got 10 extra yards on that return. He'll take that hit.
1st and 10 BC. They are at their own 23. As you said earlier, you're not going to make a living, Ron, running against Edmonton.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
Larry Crawford having some problems at that BC bench. Something Vic Rapp commented on was last week's game in Winnipeg. He said the first time this year that our trainer did not set foot on the field.
Well, that's a pleasant situation. You know, that's the big thing. You worry about those injuries, and when you get to this stage of the season, you just can't afford them.
Fantrax into the ball game in place of Bailey at 2nd and 8. Ricky Ellis was open. He could not hang on.
That was a big play, and at that time of the ball game to improve that field position like that and get that first down would have meant an awful lot to the BC Lions.
Ellis is lined up on Hayes over here. He gives him a quick move and gets inside of him, and he's got a lot of open ground in there, and Pow hits him. Oh, he's got to catch that one. He's got the step on Hayes. The only guy between him and the goal line is Lavorato. You see, he gets inside of it, and that's what the defensive back doesn't want, because when he gets in there, he's got no help, and he just drops the football. That's a bad break for the Lions, but a big one for the Esks.
Third down, Pasaglia, kicking from his own 10. Excellent punting by both Pasaglia and Olisic. Fraietta takes it back at his own 37 and is downed at the 44 by Kevin Konar. A 49-yard punt and a run back of 8.
Well, you got Olisic and Pasaglia, as you was talking about. Both of them are excellent kickers. So, you know, in the battle for field position, it's not going to be determined, I don't think, by the kicking game, because one is just as good a punter as the other one.
One thing about Olisic, though, he gets the ball way up in the air.
3:09 is the time left in the third quarter. Let's pause for this message.
With Firestone tires on your car, you benefit from a world of experience. Experience in engineering radial tires that deliver long, low-cost, fuel-saving mileage. Tires with dependable strength and stamina that comes from advanced design and careful quality control. Tires that meet the needs of the 80s from Firestone.
Here's a familiar shape, a beer mug. But what goes into it is very different from any other brand because it's got a great, refreshing, light taste. Tri-Lite. You see, Tri-Lite has 60 calories a bottle. So if you're looking for an extra light-tasting beer, make Tri-Lite your beer. Truth is, nobody brews it lighter.
Ricky Ellis has scored the only touchdown of the game, but he could have made a big play for the Lions on their last possession. He was open over the middle, but could not hold on to the throw from Joe Pow. And now the Eskimos have possession. Moon slips and falls, still gets the pass away. Lumpkin goes out of bounds at the 50. That will be a gain of 6. It will be 2nd and 4.
Dangerous thing to do, but he gets away with it. Moon goes back, slips and falls, jumps right back up. He got man coverage, and he still got the ball to Lumpkin.
16-12 is the score here in the third quarter. The Western Final. The winner will meet the Ottawa Roughriders next Sunday at Olympic Stadium in Montreal in the 1981 Grey Cup game. And you'll see it all on CBC television. Noon completed 62.6% of his passes this season. He's well below that average so far this afternoon. That will help his average. First down pass to Waddell Smith.
What was funny there, Don, is Sinkar, the second receiver in. He tries to go inside a Lund. He goes inside him, and they watch him go to the ground. They pull him down. That's good too, but while he fell down, that opened the seam for Waddell Smith to get open. He didn't get back in there where he should be. That allows the ball to be thrown.
He pulled him out of the coverage, didn't he? Pulled him right out of the way and opened the lane for the passers.
First down, Edmonton at the BC 45. Incomplete. I believe Moon was looking for Tommy Scott. That was not a good throw.
I'm not sure who he was looking for. Brian Kelly turned around and looked at Scott, and they're talking it over, coming back to the huddle. I don't know whether Moon expected maybe Kelly to break back to the sideline. Tommy Scott certainly wasn't very close to it.
Well, they're working on these receivers, and I think that's what Vic Rapp told me they were going to do. They weren't going to let them get out of there clean. They're breaking their stride and then catching them with speed with their cornerbacks. That's a good move by the cornerback, but if you get caught with that second bump, you're in trouble now.
1:45 remaining in the third quarter. 2nd and 10, Edmonton at the 45 of BC. They were coming with everybody. He got the pass away for a first down to Tommy Scott. The Lions gambled and lost in that one.
BC comes after him right here. You see Lund up on the outside. He's the guy that's going to eventually come free and hit Moon. He throws the ball out in front of Scott. Scott dives, makes the catch, keeps the drive alive on man coverage. It's a big first down. It's almost the same pattern as last time, only the ball's just a little closer to where Scott can get his hands on it.
56 seconds now remaining in the third quarter. First down, Edmonton. They are at the 30 of BC. Handoff to Jim Germany. He has 3 yards. He's stopped by Mac Moore.
They're still coming with that outside rush, too, with their defensive ends coming on the wide out rush. And the defensive tackles, I'm watching them, they're kind of losing their lanes in there. And down in this area of the field, Moon can very well step up inside, and there's nothing there with those linebackers dropped off, and he can make a lot of yardage running here. And he might forsake the body this time in order to get the big gainer.
The seconds ticking away in quarter 3. 2nd and 7. This drive started at their own 44. Pressure on Moon. This time he's caught. He's dropped by the Lions back at the 36.
Hebler just came right around Papier that time, and he was the first guy there. He forced Moon to duck, and when he ducked, then everybody else got a shot at him. But that's good defense, good pass rush.
9 seconds, the time left in this third quarter. And again, Dave Cutler comes onto the field.
Hebler, you can't see Hebler come, but you can see Proudfoot come very tough in there. And then Jackson following up and making the hit. Jackson and Proudfoot both got in there clean. They're both blitzers.
Well, they came hard, too, Leo. That Hebler turned that corner on Papier. He was really flying. Proudfoot came clean. Well, I'll tell you, the quarterback doesn't have a chance. That's good.
What happens is when that defensive end beats that offensive tackle.
The field goal by Cutler is good. And that's the end of the third quarter. The BC Lions lead by a single point.
In the early days when we ran the railway at Canadian Pacific, there was no doubt about it. It was a railway. Tracks and steam engines and freight cars. It was a railway, all right. And a darn good one, too. Well, time went on, and things progressed, of course. We developed new engines, new freight cars, new techniques. Well, that's progress. But now look at this. Does that look like a railway? Look at that. Would you know that that's a railway? It's that new intermodal service. Domestic containers for trucks and trains. Slick as a whistle on one or t'other. Less handling, safer freight, door to door, more capacity, fuel savings, better service. You know, you young fellas at Canadian Pacific today are doing just fine.
Today's Canadian Pacific.
We're proud of yesterday.
But we're planning for tomorrow.
Sony introduces the art of watching television. The Sony Betamax lets you record and see what you want when you want, to summon into your home a world of wonder. And a remarkable feature called Beta Scan lets you scan forward and reverse to quickly find any single image. Betamax transforms the act of watching television into the art of watching television.
Your show is about to begin.
Sony, the one and only.
Well, we're 15 minutes away from declaring a Western champion. The kickoff after that field goal by Cutler, taken by Devon Ford. He's trying to get outside, and he runs it back to the 48-yard line. Brought down there by Emilio Fraietta. Dave Cutler has accounted for all of the Eskimo scoring. Now, in the first half, John Wells was asking the question, when was the last time the Edmonton Eskimos had failed to score a touchdown in 30 minutes of football? Well, the last time they failed to score a touchdown in 45 minutes of football was against this same British Columbia team. However, they exploded for 29 points in the fourth quarter. Emilio Fraietta, who was involved in that tackle, the injured Edmonton Eskimo.
He made the initial hit on the punt return. I just wasn't quite sure just what he did. Oh, he seems to be all right. He's not limping very bad. He'll be all right.
Cutler come in a little bit late here. That's kind of a frustration. You see it right there, the frustration of the return.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Lions. their own 48. Pow. He's got a receiver open. Is it a catch? They rule that Al Sharuk made the reception.
Joe Pow bounced right back up off the ground there. Sharuk's going to go down the field, and he's just going to stop and run a simple hook. Just going to turn around, come back to the football. Pow took a tremendous shot from Fennell just as he let it go, and that's why the ball was delivered low, because Sharuk definitely was open.
Doesn't hurt nearly as much, though, when you complete the pass.
You got that right.
1st and 10 for the Lions. They are at the Edmonton 48. Quick opener with John Henry White and a gain of about 4. All the kickers this afternoon. Pasaglia, who handled both the placement chores and the punting duties for BC. Hank Alisic and Dave Cutler have done quite a job of kicking that ball this afternoon. They credit the Lions, John Henry White, with a gain of 5. It will be 2nd and 5. Pancratz into the ball game. Terry Bailey goes out. 13:20 left in the ball game. BC leading 16-15. Pow almost has the pass picked off. It was intended for John Pancratz, and Gary Hayes was the man who knocked it down.
There was a real mix-up there. The closest man to the ball was Gary Hayes. Pancratz started like he was going to go to the sideline, and then he kind of rolled back inside for some reason. Pow goes back. You see they're sitting back. He's got time to throw, and he throws it, and Hayes gets underneath the receiver. And he's the guy that almost makes the interception. Pancratz was a little bit deeper than Pow thought he was going to be.
Emilio Frietta is back to receive this 3rd down kick.
Frietta was looking for some sort of signal on what to do if it's in the end zone.
It's kicked to the other side. Marco Sincar back there. He bounces off a couple of tackles and struggles out to the 7-yard line. Brought down finally by Kerry Parker. A 41-yard kick by Pasaglia. I think that's the first time that anybody other than Emilio Frietta has handled a punt for the Edmonton Eskimos this afternoon. A return of 5 by Sincar.
Well, he didn't get it in the end zone to get the single point, but he certainly has got him in bad field position with a punt like that.
12:39 the time remaining in the ball game.
Didn't really look like he tried to get it to the end zone.
Not at all. And Ron, something we haven't mentioned at all, looking up at the flags, it looked like the Edmonton had the wind advantage in that 3rd quarter, but that it swung around now, and the advantage is going to be with BC in this 4th quarter, and that could be significant because it looks like it's picking up down there.
Kenny Hinton bounced Brian Kelly out of bounds.
Brian Kelly's just going to go down, turn to the outside real quick. Moon will hit him with it. He'll look for some more yardage and then bounces out of bounds. Hinton comes up on him.
Well, I think that's a significant point, Leo, that the wind has increased in velocity since the midway point of this ball game.
It might show up in the punting of Alisic's punting, too, because you'll be punting against the wind. But he's such an excellent punter, maybe it won't make that much difference.
Goodell Smith with another Edmonton 1st down.
The Eskimos right now have made a little bit of an adjustment to what BC's doing defensively. And they've gone right to the same play twice in a row, just to different receivers, just a little down and bend out or a quick out, whatever they want to call it, and he catches the football. There's Hepler. He's had a great season for the BC Lions. Sincar gets underneath him. He's the guy who gets his hands down and allows Moon to throw that quick out. You got to get those guys' hands down or they'll bat it right back at you.
From their own 31, 1st and 10, Edmonton. Inside with Germany. Or I should say Neil Lumsden. There's a penalty flag as well. Glenn Jackson was the man charged with that rough play violation.
Lumsden breaks the tackle here, and look at the spear right there by Jackson. That's what the call was right there. And, you know, they start from way down in their end of the field and bring the ball out systematically out now to about the 51-yard line. And they can't stand a penalty like that. That was a poor bit of judgment on Jackson's part.
1st and 10 for the Eskimos. 11:15 remaining in the game. They are at their own 51. Pass intended for Tommy Scott on the sidelines. He was being covered by Lund.
Don, you got a little bit of a cat and mouse game going on down here now. The BC Lions were dropping Hinton deep, and the BC Lions, Eskimos, were throwing quick outs underneath him. This time, Hinton stays up in the flat, and he forces the Lund to come and make a great defensive play right there. And if they had run a little farther, you would have seen Hinton sitting right outside waiting on that football. So they're trying to decide, we're not going to always do it one way. We're going to make you work with us and earn it. And they're doing a good job of that today.
Now it's 2nd and 10 from the 51. That pass was deflected at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure who got a hand up. It may have been either Nick Hebler or Rick Clausen.
Well, Moon's looking at his hand a little bit like it's just one of those things.
I don't know if you noticed or not. But Scott went down the middle of the seam, and he was wide open down there. And there was a lot of controversy there in the secondary by the BC players as to who was supposed to have him. But apparently Warren Moon didn't pick him up, or he'd have been home free for a long one.
10:37 left in the ball game. Elisic hangs it high.
See, that wind is holding it up a little bit too, Don.
Ford takes it on the run and steps out of bounds. There is a penalty flag. And with 10:29 left in the ball game, let's pause for this message.
Chevy makes good things happen, and good things happen. Driving Chevrolet, for fun on the run, for value it's the one, for all kinds of people, Chevy is the one. Yeah, it's your kind of people, with just your kind of drive. For all kinds of people, it's a Chevy come alive. Value and performance, feeling kind of nice, with your kind of power, at just your kind of price. Yes, good things happen to families big or small, with a Chevy in your driveway, you know you've got it all. With solid style and comfort, built right for today. Good things start to happen, enjoying Chevrolet. Turn on down that highway, it's a Chevy day today. Cause for all kinds of people, Chevy makes it happen, makes good things happen with Chevrolet.
A clipping call on that punt return by Devon Ford. Could prove costly to the BC Lions. Rather than have possession of the ball at about the 33-yard line, they are now back at their own 17.
Boy, those are tough penalties to take. You know, Jackson got 15 for roughing down here when the Esks had the ball, and now they turn around and get a clipping call. That's 30 yards right there, and that's tough to give up when you're sitting there with 1 point lead.
That's putting a lot of pressure on Pow Pow. Right now, we're going to see whether Pow Pow can really come through down here. This is a lot of pressure on him.
Ricky Ellis gets a big catch out to the 36-yard line.
Well,
that certainly atones for the miscue earlier in this second half.
And that was a big play right there. And right down there at this stage of the ball game, you got to say that a quarterback is making it or breaking it. And Pow Pow just had a lot of poise and took that ball and got it out and led Ellis just perfectly. You see Ellis going downfield right here. He just busts to the outside right there and makes the play and catches the ball. And it's just an outstanding job by Pow Pow and an equally good catch by Ellis.
To Tyrone Gray. Gray looking for some blocking help. It doesn't develop, and he is driven back by Joe Holloman.
On a play like that, Don, you can't stop and stutter and look for openings. You've got to catch that ball and turn it upfield and try to pick up your blocker and get what you can. Because when you stutter like that, all you do is draw a crowd. And there's about 6 green jerseys over there, and all you do is take a beating on something like that.
That's sort of a flanker screen where they just stand up and throw it out there to Tyrone Gray and let him use his running ability And the BC lineman, they really wasn't trying to come outside and block. They wanted him. He had to beat Holloman one-on-one. That was his job. But Holloman was equal to the occasion on that one. He got 3.
2nd and 7. The ball is nudging the 39. 8:50 left in the game. Down the sidelines for Pancratz. He can't catch up with it. And Al Sharuk was wide open.
Sharuk had a step on him, that's for sure. Pow had a little bit of pressure, but he was able to throw the ball the way he wanted to. On those kind, you hope to be able to get it up high enough so your receiver can run under it. It just got down the field too far for Pancratz to get to it, but it was a good throw.
Al Sharuk, leaving the field now, had cut into the middle, and he was open. However, the pass perhaps had already been aimed in the direction of John Pancratz, streaking down those sidelines.
Well, they threw that touchdown to Ellis off the same kind of a move earlier, so they just changed the receivers and come back with it.
3rd down kick by Pasaglia. Emilio Frietta has the ball, and he in turn is caught and thrown out of bounds by Nelson Martin.
Good coverage by the Lions. They're doing a good job coming down there.
A 37-yard kick, and Emilio Frietta only had a couple of yards on the return. Tonight on CBC television, Marketplace. Some 5 million Canadians have a drinking problem, and that problem concerns the safety of their drinking water. Join Joan Watson later tonight for a disturbing report on Marketplace. 10 o'clock, 10:30 in Newfoundland on the CBC television network.
Fans here in Edmonton getting a little bit excited right now. 8 minutes left in the game. The Eskimos still trail. The BC Lions are making this one heck of a football game, and right now they have the upper hand.
15 of 35 for Warren Moon this afternoon. Pressure again, but again Moon escapes. He throws the pass. Neil Lumsden looking for additional yardage. Out to the 50, a first down. Mac Moore had the pressure. It was Sam Britz who finally made the stop on Neil Lumsden.
You'll see Moon roll here, and you're going to see Mac Moore come free up the middle, and he's got a beat on him. Moon steps inside. Now Hebler's going to show up and tries to scamper outside. He'll dump the ball to Lumsden. He's going to get away from Glenn Jackson, pick up a block by Tommy Scott, and get a pretty good gain. That's just good athletic ability by Moon to get that ball out to Scott.
Good job of running by Lumsden, too, a former alumni of the Toronto Argonauts.
Everybody's an alumni of the Argonauts.
Moon is being chased by Murray. He throws, excellent catch in the middle. Tommy Scott, I believe, came up with that grab. And that will be another Edmonton first down with 7:08 remaining in the game. The Lions lead by 1.
Great tasting beer we got here. Old 45 beer. Great tasting beer we got here.
Well, wherever you're looking in this afternoon across the CBC television network, we hope you're enjoying the action from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, the Western Division Final, with the Lions leading the Eskimos 16-15 with 7 minutes remaining in the ball game. First down, Edmonton at the DC 46. Neil Lumsden coming out of the backfield, down the sidelines and out of bounds at 25. Another Edmonton first down.
Don, the fans here, as you can see, going extremely crazy at this point. Ron mentioned a minute ago about the excitement. I think they're a little nervous. But usually at this point of a football game at Commonwealth Stadium, quite a few empty seats start to appear, but I think they're going to be here for the conclusion of this one.
I'd have to agree with you, John. There aren't many folks who are making any attempt to head for the exit at this stage of the ball game. Moon under pressure. He's dropped back at the 35. They were blitzing the halfback, Larry Crawford, and he simply hopped up in front of the face of Warren Moon and then rode him down.
A little Edmonton trick right here. You'll see Proudfoot come running to the side of the picture right there. This means they're blitzing a halfback, and you're going to see him appear right there, and he gets right up in Warren's face and drops him for about a 10-yard loss. And when you see that safety man move like Proudfoot does, you know there's a problem. Moon's looking away, too.
That was a backside rush, too, and Lumsden went in early motion to go out into the pass pattern because he has been effective on a couple catches. It only left one back in the backfield, and Germany blocked away from the blitz. And the blitz came from Crawford. He just got him unprotected.
2nd and 18. Moon throwing deep. Kelly's open. Touchdown.
Tell you what happened there, Don. They were sitting in a 3-deep zone, and Warren Moon looked at a seam inside, and DeVeon Ford went inside, and Kelly was wide open on the sideline. Moon's going to look to his left. He finds the band. He lays it to the sideline. DeVeon Ford comes inside. That allows Kelly to go untouched down the sideline behind Kenny Hinton. There he goes. He's just having a look. Hinton's going to play the flat. He knows with a defensive back that should be back there. He's not there. Easy 6.
Man, that was just a case of blown coverage. That's all. There's nobody deep outside at all.
Well, the Eskimos haven't had much to get enthused about this afternoon, but now they have the lead for the first time since early in the 2nd quarter.
Let's take a look at it one more time. Moon's back in the pocket. He's got time. He lays it deep to the sidelines. You're going to see DeVeon Ford coming over to chase him, but it's too late. He's got to go to that ball when it's in the air, and he got fooled. Big break for the Eskimos, and the BC Lions secondary has been playing so well, but on that particular pattern, you caught him in the defense. You want him in against that throw.
Ron, it's pretty exciting down here. Hugh Campbell just smiled.
Well, that's a lot of enthusiasm for him.
Well, Brian Kelly has really been a problem for the BC Lions in 2 previous games this year, and he comes up with another big reception and could be the play of the ball game.
There's still a lot of time left in this ball game, though. 5:33. Pawpaw's been showing a lot of confidence and a lot of poise there this afternoon. He's got some good receivers, too, so this isn't over yet.
They're going to let it bounce out of bounds at the 10-yard line. The Eskimos will kick it again. Well, it'll be interesting. Will that touchdown have a demoralizing effect on the BC Lions, who came into this game believing, so did their coach Vic Raff, that they were a better football team and could beat the Edmonton Eskimos. They've made believers out of me. They have played well this afternoon.
They've overcome some things too, Don. They've had, as we pointed out before, a couple untimely penalties that hurt them immeasurably. And Edmonton really hasn't had anything like that. Edmonton's played with the poise that a championship team shows time and time again. They don't jump off sides. They don't make those costly errors. And BC really overcame those mistakes that they made, but that blowing that coverage on that last play with Ford staying on the inside, allowing Kelly to catch that pass was just something that never should have happened.
DeVeon Ford takes it at his 15. Ford was trying to sneak up behind a blocking wall that had formed, and he was caught from behind by Emilio Frietta. And it will be 1st and 10 for the Lions at their own 36.
Frietta's played a good football game today on all the special teams. He covers the punts, makes good hits over there, makes a good hit on the kickoff cover team, and he's been returning the punts great. He's having a big day today.
5:26 is the time left in the game. 22-16, the Edmonton Eskimos leading the BC Lions. Incomplete. On the sidelines, it was intended for Pankratz. He could not hang on to the throw. I think Pawpaw may have sensed that pressure coming from the backside as well.
Good thing he didn't have eyes in the back of his head, or he'd have peeled it and eat it. Boy, I'll tell you, they were coming at him like gangbusters.
Boy, Parker came around that corner in a hurry. Pawpaw threw it on a line. He threw it away from Holloman, but the ball was just a little bit too far for Pancras. But the Eskimo defense, they had the pressure on that time.
The backside rush, too.
4:56 left in the game now. 22-16. The Eskimos leading. 2nd and 10 from the 36. Pow has time over the middle. Ricky Ellis to the 51.
Good pattern by Ellis right there, just a curl-in pattern, and the ball was thrown, and Gary Hayes slipped and fell, and that made it look like Ellis was wide open. Big play for Pow.
There you see it right here, Ron. He just goes back, and look at Pow here. Now, there's a lot of pressure coming on him, and a year ago or even earlier this year, he may have thrown it up for grabs, but he waited in there till the last minute, saw Ellis curl to the inside, and got it to him for the first down. He's shown a lot of poise.
4:11 left in the game. 1st and 10, BC. The Lions at their own 51. Incomplete.
You see that right there, Don? Pow getting up off the ground, and Ron Este hit him pretty good just as he threw the football. Anytime you play the Edmonton Eskimos, you've got to be mentally prepared for a physical beating, because they put that pressure on you, and you're going to take a lot of hits as a quarterback. And Pow has not let it bother him today. He's got up, and he's come right back and thrown that ball again. You see him in the pocket. Just he lets it go, Este lands on him. And the Eskimos do this time and time again all year long, and Pow has bounced right back.
The second ticking away as the Lions trail by a 22-16 margin. 2nd and 10 from their own 51. Swing pass to John Henry White. Cutting back inside and then hit by Dan Kepley. The initial contact with quarterback Joe Pow by James Parker just as he threw out to John Henry White, and he felt that one.
This is football at its finest, Don. I'll tell you, Parker really hit Pow, and the ball thrown out to White. He tried to cut back inside, and Potter got hold of it, and Kepley drilled him.
Here he is looking over his receivers right now, and boy, that hurts when you get that in the middle of the back. He'll be checking that number to find out who had that block.
Get the license number of that truck.
That's right.
Boy, that hurts. I give the guy a lot of credit, Don. He just keeps getting up and coming back. He'll be back next series.
This is the biggest punt of the afternoon right here. Pasaglia's got the wind at his back now. If he gets it up in the air, they've still got a chance.
Excellent kick by Pasaglia. Fraietta goes back to his own 10. Fraietta is down at the 14. Caught by Don Taylor. But as far as the Eskimos are concerned, he hung on to the football. Roy DeWalt is staying loose at that BC bench. Perhaps the health of Joe Pow is not as good as we first thought.
You see that flak jacket right around the ribs on that number 9 on or number 6 of 9 of DeWalt. They are very necessary today.
Lund is down there too, and it looks like he may have a hamstring. He's pointing to his leg.
Pow will be back. He's not going to come out of a game like this unless Coach Rapp just decides he wants to make a change. But Pow is coming back in here. He's a tough kid.
3:12 is the time remaining. Hal Lund was shaken up. He heads to the bench.
Looks like he's all right, though. He's running pretty good over there.
Things a little more relaxed, perhaps, at that Edmonton Eskimo bench. They've been through this type of thing before. Something of a new experience for most of the BC Lions. Moon sideline pattern for Waddell Smith. That will produce a gain of 5 yards. Brought down by Kerry Parker. We have 2:46 remaining in this Western final.
If you're looking for action and adventure, we've got jobs that'll bring out the best in you, physically and mentally. In the regular forces or the reserves, you will meet new challenges and new friends and be doing something worthwhile for Canada and yourself.
There's no life like it. There's no life like it. No,
We're the Canadian Armed Forces. Look for us in the yellow pages under Recruiting.
It's got to be just right. It's got to be just great. It's a job for nobody else but me. Me and my workmate. Me and my workmate. Together we're great.
You've got it made with Black & Decker.
The BC Lions trail by 6 with 2:46 remaining in the ball game. And it's second down. Edmonton right now at their own 21. Second and 4 for the Eskimos.
That's the big down right here. BC is going to blitz on it.
Lumsden fought his way for the necessary yardage and a first down.
Boy, Mac Moore had him in the backfield, and Lumsden just bounced off of him, spun inside, and made the first down. That's a great effort by Neil Lumsden right there.
Mac Moore had him, and Mac Truck kept the ball. Mac Truck just took it right down and got that necessary yardage for that first down, and a great effort by Neil Lumsden.
Now 2:19 remaining in the game. First down, Edmonton. They are at their own 27. Moon in trouble, and he goes down back at the 30-yard line. He picks up a couple of yards.
That was a called play right there. Moon knew what he was going to do when the ball was snapped. He sent both backs in motion to one side and got that defense of the BC Lions revolving that way. Just put the ball up in the air and spun around and tried to come back and get outside by himself. You can see Britt's moving there. That's the way the whole secondary moves, and then he's just going to come around hopefully by himself. But he didn't fool him completely. You see 4 white shirts waiting on him. He took a good shot from Mac Moore right there.
So now it's second and 8 for the Eskimos with 1:55 left in the ball game. BC Lions desperately trying to stop the Eskimos here and get that football back. Inside with Lumsden again, another first down. That could be the ball game right there.
That's not really the first time that I've seen Edmonton do this in the last part of the ball game when they had to sustain. Just a straight handoff in there to Lumsden, who picked it up on the inside and just rushed past people, raised his legs and got through there and just powered people for that first down. Neil Lumsden is a sustainer. He's the kind of a guy that can get you that first down when you need it in the last part of the ball game.
Vic hasn't given up yet. He's still ready to go. I'll tell you, that's a great play right there if you're an Eskimo fan. Not so much for BC, because with 1:39, they were hoping to stop him and get that ball back right now with over a minute left.
An injured member of the Eskimos, and Hugh Campbell now calling over quarterback Warren Moon. It appears to be Hector Potier. Of course, Potier was hurt in the Eskimos' final game of the season against the Toronto Argonauts. Vic Raff, a rather emotional individual. Throughout most of the ball game, he appeared to be rather calm and cool at that BC bench, but now he's pacing back and forth. He has removed the headset.
There's Potier right there. A lot of times that happens too, Don, when a guy hurts his ankle and he's off for a couple weeks and he's really not active. His legs aren't in perfect shape and he's very susceptible to another injury.
I would think right there, it looked like that Glenn Jackson hit him right in the ribs. He might have hurt his ribs on that play. I know Campbell and Wilkinson talking to Moon down there along with Cal Murphy. I know one thing, they were concerned right there on that last play that Moon was taking too much time because Cal Murphy was signaling him to hurry up. Now they're going to make clear to him to get that ball in play in 20 seconds because you'll lose it down. And you don't want to lose that. You're trying to kill time right now.
Well, if he hurt his ribs, he's limping a little bit there, Ron, so I think maybe he did hurt that, that leg, and I don't know if it was the ankle or the knee.
Well, he took a good shot.
Dan Kearns comes into the ball game to replace Poitier. 1st and 10 for the Eskimos. The second ticking away. 1:25 now remaining. Lumsden to the 50-yard line. 1:18 is the time left in the game.
Well, now will Vic Rapp just figure that at this stage of the ball game and in this position on the field that Moon is not going to put the ball up in the air and he's going to try to get the first down on the ground or with a safe play, and will he come with that blitz? That's the thing that I think right now that maybe he should have in his mind is put a heavy front in there and go after him like there's no tomorrow, because I'm not sure he's going to throw the ball here.
I have to agree with you, Leo. I think he should come after him right now. No time for cowards today, is it?
Second down, Moon running with the ball. He'll try for the first down himself. He won't get it. He is stopped short.
Boy, he got a great block from Jim Germany that time on Sam Britz that allowed him to get outside and get the yardage that he did get.
You know,
a timeout has been called by the BC Lions with 52 seconds remaining in the game.
This medicine didn't help me.
Really? Did you take it like I said?
Sure, 1 tablet twice a day.
Better read the label. It's 2 tablets.
How could I forget that?
Don't trust your memory with medicine. Read the label. It's the one place you'll find all you need to know to make sure the medicine works right for you. Even warns against misuse. So read the label.
Do I feel better today? From now on, I'll always read the label.
Don't trust your memory. Read the label. The Council on Family Health.
This ark we call planet Earth is in serious trouble. We lose one wildlife species every single day. By the end of the 80s, it could be 1 an hour. In Canada, 15 wildlife species are on the brink of extinction, and the list is growing. Contribute to the World Wildlife Fund today. We'll see that every single cent saves wildlife.
Only 52 seconds separate the Edmonton Eskimos from a 5th straight trip to the Grey Cup. They lead 22-16. It's 3rd down, Edmonton. They are at the 54 of the BC Lions, 3rd and a yard and a half.
Do you go after him? Do you go after this punt? I think you do. I think you got to go get it.
I think you do too, Ron, with just 52 seconds left.
The kick by Alisic, angling it out of bounds. That's where it goes at the 13-yard line. Perfect position.
That's a great kick. Puts that ball out of bounds. No return. That's what's been dangerous for the BC Lions today. They went after it. They got a good rush, but the Eskimos changed their punt formation, put 4 people back there to block. They must have been expecting it.
Did you notice what that Mr. number 1 did on that last play? He got himself in a position where a good quarterback, he gives the ball to his best receiver. That doesn't work. He hands off to the best runner. If that doesn't work, he gets it himself. He tried to get him himself. Moon just rolled out and tried to get it all by himself. Unfortunately, come up short. Now BC has to move a long ways in 45 seconds.
Ricky Ellis is open at the 30-yard line. He goes out of bounds.
Good move by Ellis. Catch that ball, get what you can, get out of bounds. They got some territory to go in 37 seconds. That's a good play by him. I can't believe people walking,
21 yards.
It'd be crazy.
There aren't many who have left, Ron. A
No,
few
right,
have started to move, but
maybe they can't sit anymore. I don't know.
37 seconds remain. First down. The Lions at their own 33. Pow underthrew the receiver, Ricky Ellis, who was open on the other side of the field.
Boy, you got to have a good gun to do that. He's done that 2 times in a row. Rolled one side and from the other side of the hash marks thrown all the way back across the field. That's tough to do.
Well, Vic Rapp just sent it a message, and all year long they've gone to number 32, Tyrone Gray, to get the big play. And I wouldn't be surprised if he said, put it up in the air, and hopefully he'll catch the ball or they'll run into him or something and cause a penalty.
Don Taylor comes in. Larry Key goes out. 31 seconds remain in the game. It's 2nd and 10. for Ricky Ellis. It's picked off by the Eskimos, Gary Hayes. But Joe Holloman is the man who picked it off. And that will be the ball game. The Edmonton Eskimos, once again, will represent the West in the Grey Cup game.
Papa went back and threw that thing as far as he could throw it, and he was just hoping that Ellis could get down there to get under it, but the Eskimo defense was way back, and Holloman was in great shape. You see Ellis is just going. That ball is thrown a long way down there. It's over everybody's head. Holloman makes the interception, which now they got a lot of time to kill, and BC can't do anything about it.
Well, I'll tell you, there's not much more you can do on a play like that at that stage of the ball game than let it go and hope for the best. And the BC Lions have nothing to be ashamed of. They played a great game out here this afternoon. They almost beat an awfully good football team, the Edmonton Eskimos, but the Edmonton Eskimos, champions that they are, when the chips were down, they had to get it. They got it when it counted.
And, of course, there's excitement at that Edmonton bench. The clock will not start until the ball is snapped in this play. Warren Moon goes down. That had used up just 2 seconds, but now the BC Lions, having already used their timeout, cannot stop the clock. And on this play, with only 19 seconds remaining, I'm quite sure that the Eskimos will let it run out.
We saw Joe Paupau a second ago talking to Coach Rapp on the sideline. He will be a better quarterback in the CFL for a game like today. This is a big, big game. He took a lot of punishment, but he played well. Did a good job, and it's going to help him next year.
The fans counting down for seconds, and the Edmonton Eskimos once again are Western champions, coming through with a fourth quarter touchdown and a 22-16 victory over the British Columbia Lions. A capacity crowd of over 52,000 watching the action here at Commonwealth Stadium. And what an exciting ball game it was, with the Eskimos not winning it until the fourth quarter. We'll be back. And right now, before we go away, I think that John Wells is standing by with the winning coach, Hugh Campbell.
Okay, Don, Hugh Campbell has just won his fifth Western final in a row. It looked like it was a pretty exciting game for you personally on the sidelines. A lot of emotion down there.
Well, there were a whole lot of decisions to be made, not only by me, but by the assistant coaches. I thought did an excellent job. And then BC really played really well. We had to be at our best. They pushed us to the limit, and I think it's good. A Western team has a better chance to win in the Grey Cup if they're pushed to the limit, and then we certainly were.
Did the Lions surprise you at all today, or is that why you walked around all week looking so concerned that you knew this was going to happen?
No, I think that they'll tell you after the game they played the defenses that they played the latter part of the season, and nothing really tricky, but they're just good. They got good people, and they have a good record, and no one should have expected anything different.
Thanks very much. Congratulations again. Hugh Campbell, head coach of the Edmonton Eskimos, and we'll continue from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton right after this.
Hi, I am A. A isn't fat. Let me tell you right off the bat, these days fat is not where it's at. But how can I go from fatness to fitness? Watch me right here. You be my witness. And get up and get moving. It's time for action. Start walking. That's a step in the right direction. Take one extra step. From walking to hiking, one more step gets you right up to biking. Soon the shape you're in will be more to your liking. You'll feel like a hero, a cowboy, a Viking. You may never become a champion swimmer, but a few laps a day can make you slimmer and trimmer. Play ball games and all games like soccer and tennis, and suddenly your weight is no longer a menace. Soon you're smooth and lean like a fox, all hustle and muscle, just like an ox. Yes, little by little, you're fit as a fiddle. Now I am the I wanted to be. And getting into fitness has done it for me. Ho-ho!
Canadians are into fitness now.
When you support United Way, you're helping people in your community, including kids and adults with medical problems. In my town, United Way dollars support Red Cross blood transfusion programs, St. John's Ambulance, and people suffering from multiple sclerosis and other illnesses. United Way works in your community, providing health services your neighbors really need. The United Way is working for Bonnie, too, Right, Bonnie?
Right, Don.
The united way, the neighborly way.
It's no puzzle why a beer stands the test of time. It delivers great taste time after time.
Yeah, the tradition's strong. We're all moving along 'cause the tradition's strong.
OV's Great Taste has been a popular choice with Canadians for generations. And the tradition grows because OV's Great Taste is always popular. No puzzle to that.
So just say OV, OV for people, yeah.
And now, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars.
A lot of leading candidates for such honors. We chose Brian Kelly and James Parker. A quick comment from both of you. Brian, first of all, you.
Well, we were lucky to win, I think. I think the 3-week layoff could have hurt us. I was so tired during the game, I didn't have any energy to get going, and on a lot of long passes, I couldn't catch up to them because we hadn't been played in 3 weeks.
Okay, Jim, what about you?
Well, we have been working hard for the last couple of weeks that we had off. And we knew BC was going to come out and play us hard because they've been playing hard the previous game. So we just tried to do what we was doing. And you stick with our game plan, and we came up a winner.
Congratulations, gentlemen. We'll see you next week in Montreal. Our Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars, the final score 22-16. And next weekend on CBC television on Saturday, the Grey Cup Parade, followed by Grey Cup Festival, the CFL 81 Review. On Sunday, Grey Cup Preview, followed by the Grey Cup game on the CBC television network.
CFL 81 has been brought to you by Canadian Pacific, owned by Canadians working for Canadians. By Firestone Canada, maker of the 721 Fuel Fighter Radio. And by Carling O'Keefe, brewers of OV and the Carlsberg family.
During the course of the 1981 Canadian Football League season, these are some of the people who have been responsible for providing CBC television coverage in Western Canada. And of course, our CBC crews will be on hand at Olympic Stadium in Montreal for the Grey Cup game. Our halftime feature, CFL in Action, a feature of our telecast this season. And the production trio putting it together included Pat Walker, Susie Scott, and Fausto Belliamoni. Now for everyone on our CBC crew, Don Whitman saying good afternoon from Edmonton.